All-American quarterback Calvin Pete, and so he's got an offensive reputation. It was about 10 years ago that he left Michigan, where he served with Bo Schembechler for about 8 or 9 years as the offensive coordinator there. So we got a new coach, a new system, but this Memphis State team, a lot of veterans returning, and they remember the big victory in Gainesville last fall.
Well, the Florida Gators have won the toss, and they've elected to kick off in the first half.
And defend the goal, David. They took the win.
Which is quite a factor in this football game. Again, gusting from the north at about 20 to 25 miles per hour.
Left to right as you look at your screen. Left to right as you look at your screen as you see the Gators preparing to kick off.
And it'll be John David Francis kicking off to begin this football game from Memphis, Tennessee, and we're underway. John Bush from about the 5-yard line. Gang tackled up around the 21 or 22-yard line. And that's where Memphis State will put the ball in play. They'll spot it at the 24. Take a look at Memphis State, the offense, led by quarterback Tim Jones, who had an outstanding game against the Gators a year ago. The fullback Wayne Pryor is a real bulldozer back there. And a young offensive line. Clark Stevenson, the center, Keith Bland, the right offensive guard, are the premier players of the Memphis State offensive line. Quarterback Tim Jones pitches to tailback Marvin Cox, and Cox bangs it out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Brad Culpepper, the sophomore nose guard out of Tallahassee, made the stop. Florida's defensive front wall having an outstanding season in the early going. The outside linebackers, the inside linebackers, great speed there, and a young secondary led by the cornerbacks Watkins and Fain. From the 29, second down and 6. Again, it is Cox, and Cox is hit head-on by the linebacker, Jerry Odom. Brad Culpepper, the nose guard.
David, you might see a lot of that I formation from Memphis State. You know, Coach Stopart coming from Southern California, where they feature that I formation and trying to introduce that to the system here with the Tigers. Marvin Cox, the tailback, David, is 26 years old, had never played high school football, a Marine veteran before coming to Memphis State.
3rd and 7 on the option. Cox gets the pitch and is bounced down at about the 31-yard line. Jerry Odom, the junior linebacker from Merritt Island, made the stop for the Florida Gators.
So difficult for that cornerback to make the tackle in the open field. Richard Fain missing the tackle, but Gerald Odom coming over there to finish the playoff for the Gators.
Number 35, Jeff Fight.
Jeff Fight comes on to kick for Memphis State. Got off a 78-yard kick last week against Alabama in their loss. That was a key player in the Memphis State victory a year ago against Florida in Gainesville when he got off a 68-yard punt against the Florida Gators last year at Florida Field.
Yeah, he had a great ball game last year.
Low driving kick into the wind is down at the 32-yard line of the Florida Gators. A 37-yard kick into a stiff wind by Jeff Fight.
Great
Florida
field
Gator
position,
football.
David, for the Gators.
Gator offense. Emmett Smith, Cedric Smith in the backfield. Great speed at the wide receiver spot. And a very much improved offensive line. Glenn Neely hails from nearby Olive Branch, Mississippi, number 70 in that Florida offensive line. Emmett Smith bounces to the outside. He looks for the corner. And crosses the 50-yard line to the Memphis State 46-yard line. Torrey Epps, the nose guard, made the tackle for Memphis State, but Emmett Smith, running with tremendous authority, gets 22 yards on the carry.
Easily the most spectacular run of the season for Emmett Smith here in the third ball game of the '89 season, bouncing away from the attempted tackles at the line of scrimmage. Watch Terrence Barber come and make the block right there, and then Emmett simply runs over Reginald Jones, number 7, picks up in another 4 or 5 yards. Big play by the All-American candidate.
And a first down for the Gators. Smith once again runs head-on into that line of scrimmage. Into the linebacker, or rather the nose guard, Torrey Epps, one of the veterans on this Memphis State defense. You know, Memphis State had an outstanding defense a year ago as you look at their starters. But 10 members of that defense that helped stop the Florida Gators last year are no longer on this football team. So it's a different look this year for this Memphis State Tiger defense.
And Epps is absolutely one of the best nose guards in the nation. Big number 66 for Memphis State.
Be an interesting battle between Cal Dixon, Florida center, and Torrey Epps. Smith again the ball carrier. Spins free at the 40. Down he goes at the 37-yard line of Memphis State. Gain of about 5 yards on the play, and the tackle made by Lish Trice, the defensive tackle. Gator coach Galen Hall watching from the far sideline. In his 6th season at the helm, has kept this program moving forward through some very difficult times at the University of Florida. 3rd down and a yard at the Tiger 36. Power I backfield. I don't think Emmitt Smith got the first down.
Memphis State doing a nice job shutting off the run at the line of scrimmage right there. Last week in Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama got over 330 yards rushing against this Memphis State defense. So the Gators come out tonight, move the ball quite successfully early in the first drive, and then run up against a brick wall there on that 3rd down attempt. Looks like they might be going to go for it, David.
It is 4th and 1 at the Tiger 36-yard line. Emmitt Smith with the first down to the 24-yard line of Memphis State. Carlos Hollowell, the linebacker, made the tackle.
That's the risk you take on short yardage when you bunch up 11 players near the line of scrimmage trying to stop that dive, but Emmitt Smith bounces outside quickly, and Carlos Hollowell is the only player that can stop him from getting into the end zone. The Gators inside the 25-yard line of Memphis State right now. Emmitt off to the sideline to take a quick breather.
Number 5, Willie McClendon, is now the tailback, and Darrell Perry is now the fullback in the Florida Gator offensive attack. This is McClendon. He fumbled the football, and it is recovered by Memphis State. Reginald Jones, or Steve Smith rather, number 10, recovered the fumbled football out of the grasp of Willie McClendon.
Well, Willie McClendon is cold, coming off the sideline, his first carry of the evening, and he gives the football up, and the big turnover here is Neely scrambles for it, but the fumble ends a very impressive drive, and now Memphis State has the football.
So the Florida drive is stopped. Memphis State at its own 20-yard line, the Tigers' 2nd possession of the evening. Marvin Cox runs into Gerald Odom 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, we talked about Huey Richardson coming back to the team. Tim Polk is coming back also at the inside linebacker position, but he's going to have a problem getting Gerald Odom out of that lineup. Gerald Odom just having an outstanding season. The first 2 ball games, making a lot of tackles, coming up with 2 interceptions right there, making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Number 57, Gerald Odom.
Totally different types of football players. Polk with a great speed and athleticism. Odom, a very, very smart linebacker and a good athlete as well. 2nd and 14. Cox sweeping left side, bounces off 2 tacklers and cuts it upfield to the 25-yard line. Nice, strong running by Marvin Cox. Kerry Watkins, the senior cornerback out of Pensacola, number 4, made the stop.
Marvin Cox breaks a couple of tackles, as you'll see right here. This young man, again, 26 years old, a lot of maturity and a lot of strength, obviously, as he escapes the tackle of 2 Gator defenders and moves the ball out near the 25-yard line.
Where it is 3rd and 5. You talked about Cox spending 4 years in the Marines. He did not play high school football. Jones rolling out. Pass incomplete, intended for the fullback, Wayne Pryor of an outstanding pass receiver in the Tiger offense, but not that time. That'll bring up 4th down.
Pryor was the leading receiver for the Tigers last year at the fullback position. So they're used to getting the ball to him, but that one, even if he had caught it, been short of the 1st down. So that Gator defense does an excellent job with Memphis State again, and they're forced to punt the football. And this young man with a 43.9 average can do the job for the Tigers.
Florida has twin receivers on the punt return, Tony Lomack and Stacy Simmons. And Jeff Fight puts his left foot into it at about the 15-yard line, end over end. It hits the turf at the 45 in Florida territory, trickles several more yards, and the Bulldogs down at the 41. Good field position once again for the Gators, and you would expect that, as they are the team with the wind at their back, and Memphis State is moving into the wind here in the first period. The wind will be a factor in this game. 29-yard kick by Jeff Fight. Sophomore quarterback Kyle Morris from Clinton, Mississippi. Cedric Smith and Emmett Smith in the backfield. And Morris to throw on 1st down. Shoots it over the middle for Barber. It is incomplete.
Barber on the post route. Reginald Jones in good coverage there.
That's the first pass that the Gators have thrown in this game. They marched it from their 33 down to the 25-yard line of Memphis State before fumbling it away all on the ground on their first possession.
And they passed on 1st down, too, so they're trying to give Memphis State a different look.
Morris throwing on 2nd down. He has Emmett Smith coming out of the backfield. And Emmett Smith has a Florida 1st down as he steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line of the Tigers. Anthony Collins, a free safety, chased him away.
Whitey Jordan, the offensive coordinator, and head coach Galen Hall trying to present a balanced attack with this Gator offense. And here Kyle Morris comes out, drops the ball off to Emmett Smith, the guy you want to get the ball to as often as you can. Emmett simply outruns the linebackers here, picking up the 1st down.
Once again, it's Emmett Smith. Not much running room this time. He picked up 3 to the 45-yard line, and the tackle was made again by Collins, freshman out of Mobile, Alabama. Smith slowly getting up off the turf.
Emmett just doesn't seem to be healthy. You know, he seems to be taking himself out of the ball game quite often here in the 1989 season, and he just can't seem to shake that concern he has on his knee, I guess.
Dexter McNabb is in the backfield alongside Cedric Smith. On 2nd down, the pass is caught by McNabb. McNabb fights his way for a 1st down to the 36-yard line. He appeared to have fumbled the football, perhaps, but the ball was down at the 36 of Memphis State. Florida will retain possession this time.
Well, Dexter McNabb has got the good hands as a receiver. He's so effective as a running back that they've put him at the tailback position on a number of occasions this year. There he coughed the football up, but fortunately the Gators recovered.
McNabb checks out. McClendon checks in. Morris rolling out and throwing it incomplete at the 29, intended for Tony Lomack. The senior receiver out of Tallahassee could not catch up to it, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 from the 36 of Memphis State.
Tony Lomack wide open. Just Kyle Morris a bit overthrown right there, but that would have been a nice 7 or 8 yard gain.
Emmett Smith needed 45 yards to pass Tony Green in that category, and he's just done so. He's got 46 in the game. Movement on the right side of the Gator line. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. And it's Florida's veteran, senior John Durden, that jumped the gun. 732 plays last year. He's played about every down. I think he did play every down against the Ole Miss Rebels in week 1, and because of the lopsided nature of the score, didn't play but about half the game last week against Louisiana Tech. But even the veterans can make mistakes every now and then, and Durden just jumped the gun there.
Gators trying to keep Memphis State guessing, but now they're almost forced to put the ball in the air with 15 yards to go for the first down.
Second down and 15. Morris shoots it right side for Barber. Nice cut back to the middle, and then he slings the football, and it's picked off by Collins of Memphis State. Another fumble.
I'm driving a Mercedes-Benz 560 SL, and this is the ultimate luxury roadster. It's fun on the highway, and it's fun on the beach. If a convertible is not practical, we've got the practical car truck for you. Like a brand new Mercedes-Benz 190E. It's only $399 per month with no down payment. And we got them to choose from. I'm Richard Kelly, and at Richard Kelly Buick Mercedes-Benz Jeep and Eagle, we've got the practical, affordable, and fun automobile for you.
Introducing the new Super Value menu from Wendy's. Junior Bacon Cheeseburger tastes so fine. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. I ain't telling you no lie. Big in drink and big in fries. What you get is what you see. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. Hot dog and a cool frosty. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Look for these 5 big items for 99 cents each. And other great values on Wendy's new Super Value menu.
Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
When we left you last, it looked like Florida had fumbled it away to Memphis State, but a penalty flag was down on the play, and a defensive holding was called against the Memphis State Tigers. It gives the Gators a first down, and instead of Memphis State having the football, the Gators are still driving in Memphis State territory. Let's see if we can pick up the penalty here.
Well, that's just a gigantic break for the Gators. Automatic first down, and the turnover does not matter. Gators get the ball back.
5th first down of the game for the Florida Gators at the 31 of Memphis State. Morris with all kinds of time. Beautifully thrown and caught by the tight end, Kirkpatrick. That's Alonzo Sullivan, rather, number 86, and Smith makes the tackle for Memphis State. Sullivan holding on to it. And another first down. Well thrown pass by Kyle Morris, who has completed 3 passes on this drive. 3 out of 5 is Kyle Morris. First down at the 17-yard line of the Tigers. We are still in the first period. Emmitt Smith had nowhere to go. Ran right into Lish Trice, the junior defensive tackle.
Trice saw the offensive guard pull, simply fell in behind him and was in the backfield to make the tackle. Wasn't cut off as he was in pursuit, and looks like Trice got shaken up on the play.
I believe Emmitt Smith just lost those yards he needed to overtake Tony Green for number 2 in the all-time rushing list. I suspect he'll get him back before the evening is over. Second down and 13. Pass over the middle off the fingertips of Emmitt Smith. Incomplete. Let's go down on the field to Larry Vitale.
Whenever you have a game under weather conditions like this, particularly the team that's less familiar with them, can often have trouble holding on to the football, David, and we're seeing that with the Florida Gators. Not only fingertip catches that can't be made, but 4 times the ball has popped loose from a Gator ball carrier. Twice Florida's recovered it, twice Memphis State, although the Gators got a break back on the turnover. They've got to concentrate better on holding on to the football.
It is 3rd and 13 from the Memphis State 20. The Bulldogs have 9 players up on the line of scrimmage. Morris unloads it deep for the corner of the end zone. There's some bumping, but no penalty flag, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Terrence Barber.
Reginald Jones, man for man on Terrence Barber there, but not able to get loose, and excellent coverage by Jones in the end zone. Looks like the Gators are going to have to settle for the attempt at the 3.
So a Florida drive, which began back at the 41-yard line, stalls out once again.
An all too familiar pattern.
Field goal attempt. John David Francis, 27 yards. Make it a 37-yard kick. It is up. It is good. And John David Francis has given the Gators a 3-0 lead in the first period from Memphis, Tennessee. Back in a moment.
If you need new carpet, come to B&B Floors. If you need new vinyl, come to B&B Floors. If you need new wood floors, come to B&B. Want to save money on your floors? B&B. Get the very best for the very least at B&B Floors.
This month's special, wear dated stain blocker carpet, just $9.99 a square yard at B&B Floors, behind the Gainesville Shopping Center.
I just love B&B Floors.
2 for 1. That's right. Eyeglass Express is offering 2 pairs of glasses for the price of 1. Or buy 1 pair of glasses and we'll fill your contact lens prescriptions from one of these quality manufacturers absolutely free. Eye exams are offered at both locations weekdays and Saturdays by independent optometrists. Eyeglass Express has thousands of frames to choose from. Most prescriptions are filled in 1 hour by our own laboratories. So come on down and get your 2 for 1 only at Eyeglass Express, Butler Plaza and Newberry Square.
John David Francis has just put the Florida Gators on top here early, still in the first period. 3-0, Florida versus Memphis State. And Francis kicks it away. That is Reginald Jones, who fumbles it at the 4-yard line. Jones is slammed down at the 15.
Well, David, the Gators sure taking advantage of field position here as they won the coin toss, deferred the option to the second half, and kicked off with the win at their back.
Memphis State's third possession. Their first possession, they had it at their own 24, 3 plays and a punt. Second possession, their own 20, 3 plays and a punt. Now they start from their 15. Quarterback is senior Tim Jones out of Gordo, Alabama. Handoff is to Pryor, the big fullback, into the open field, tackled around the ankles and dropped by cornerback Kerry Watkins at the 33-yard line. An explosive running back, Wayne Pryor, who has almost 1,700 yards rushing in his career at Memphis State, out of Rockwood, Tennessee.
They have featured the fullback here at Memphis State the last few years, but going to that I formation, he probably won't carry the football as much as he's used to.
This is the pitch to Cox. Cox to the 40. He's got good speed. It is a foot race. And Cox will win it. Touchdown, Memphis State.
Now the Tigers do a great job running this option, faking the dive to the fullback, pitching the ball to Marvin Cox, David, and once he broke through the line of scrimmage, he was gone.
67 yards on the touchdown run for Marvin Cox. That's his first touchdown run as a Memphis State Tiger. John Butler will try the extra point. Cox was a player with what and appeared to be a lot of talent, and he seems to be putting it together here in this his junior season. There's the extra point by John Butler, and Memphis State has gone on top 7-3 here in the first period. A 2-play drive, and the Tigers have taken the lead. Back in a moment.
Hi, Gator fans. When you're buying a new car or truck, what's more important to you, your money or your time? Well, at Terwilliger Ford, we believe that both are. So we try to ensure that both your money and your time are well spent. A short 20-minute drive can save you hours of negotiating and hundreds of dollars. And how does no payment till 1990 sound? So come see us, and we'll show you how buying a Ford from Terwilliger Ford can be affordable for you. Enjoy the game, and go, Gators!
65 years ago, Leo walked across the living room for the first time, and everyone cheered. This year, he took some bigger steps thanks to hip replacement surgery and therapy at Shands Hospital. Arthritis had made walking nearly impossible. University of Florida physicians at Shands performed this surgery with remarkable success, enabling Leo to walk normally again. Consult your local physician or call Shands Hospital at 1-800-535-0373.
Memphis State has gone on top of Florida 7-3. 4:28 left in the first period. John Butler, barefooted kicker, slaps the toe into it. And from the 8-yard line comes Tony Lomack. Lomack cuts to the outside. He's got tremendous speed and goes down at the 25-yard line. An electrifying kick return by Tony Lomack. Anthony Jones saved a touchdown for Memphis State.
Tony Lomack was a star track athlete in Tallahassee. Uses his speed here as he hits the seam, and he's off to the races here as on the cutback. Finally, the pursuit's going to get him. But there's a penalty on the play.
Penalty marker back upfield at about the 50-yard line. And they're going to bring it back at least part of the way. We haven't seen an official signal yet.
Well, there was a gigantic seam there as Lomack returned that kickoff. Unfortunately, oh my goodness, offsides on the receiving team. I don't think you see that but once every 3 years on a kickoff.
Isn't that something? The Gators had somebody lined up. Offside on the kick, apparently, has been the call. And Memphis State will kick it again. That nullifies about a 70-yard kick return by Tony Lomack.
Well, either he lined up offsides or started to attack one of the defenders before the kicker got to the ball, David. I don't know if we'll be able to find out from Larry Vitale later on the sideline what exactly happened, but a gigantic mistake. The Gators having a tremendous opportunity with Lomack's return, all for naught because of the offside alignment. Very unusual call.
Butler will kick it off again.
You got to line up 10 yards away from that 40-yard line where the Tigers will be kicking off from, and evidently the Gators had a problem on the prior kickoff.
That is a very, very seldom seen call. This will be Stacy Simmons. And Simmons looks for a spot in the open field, but doesn't do nearly as well as Lomack had done just moments ago, and he's dropped down at about the 31-yard line. Let's take another quick look at Memphis State's touchdown. The play before they'd hit the fullback, 44 prior there, they faked to the fullback and pitched on the option to Cox.
And the 26-year-old tailback hits that hole, and the secondary was up rapidly to make the tackle, and once he hit the seam, he was gone. Marvin Cox, hard to believe that young man did not play high school football. Went into the Marines immediately upon graduation from high school and comes back to star for Memphis State. As we look at this 2-yard drive, that's the kind of drive that the Tigers want to have.
Jim, you may not believe this, but there's a penalty flag on the field, and apparently the Gators were offside again.
They couldn't have been. They were going backwards when the ball was kicked. I was watching that time, and I don't understand. All you got to do is line up 10 yards away from the ball. That's a mystery to me, David.
Well,
I don't understand.
Could they be getting out of the neutral zone too quickly in their retreat?
I don't think that matters. You can't come forward. You know, you can line up all 11 men back in the end zone if you want to, I think.
I think you've got a neutral zone in there, and I'm not sure what the width is of it, but that might be it. Maybe the Gators are getting back, retreating too quickly. I've never seen it called twice in a row. I know that.
That's why I don't know the rule. I've never seen it called. What you're saying is they have a zone that they can't leave?
Yeah.
And they're pulling back too rapidly.
That's my theory, because that's about all I can come up with.
I don't understand, but you must be right.
Now they kick from the 45-yard line. And into a stiff wind, the Gators will have a chance to return once again. They're getting a lot of practice on this kick return, aren't they? Nice hurdling job by Tony Lomack, and he's out to the 50-yard line. Do you see any yellow flags?
I don't. I think the Gators are saying, well, take that.
So the first one went to the 30 of, that was a 48-yard return. The first return went to the 30 of Memphis State, the second to the 30 of Florida, so they split the difference, and Lomack took it to the 50.
Now the Gators come out with tremendous field position despite the 2 consecutive penalties. Tony Lomack with his second excellent return in this series. Stacy Simmons took the other one.
Now we play football. Emmett Smith found a crease left side. Breaking tackles to the 30, looks for a block. And Reginald Jones saves the touchdown. There's a penalty flag coming down late. I think we got a face mask on the tackle at about the 10-yard line. Emmitt Smith running with great authority in this game tonight.
Yeah, David, this is the kind of play that you come to expect from Emmitt Smith, but you don't understand how he does it. I do not understand how he did not go down right there. He was hit by at least 3 or 4 defenders near the line of scrimmage, but he didn't go down. He simply, it's like a pinball. You know how the ball bounces around in a pinball machine? He just bounces from side to side. He's got that incredible knack. And as we see the face guard, inadvertent grabbing of the face guard, another 5 yards, and the Gators move down near the 5-yard line. Now, can they finish this drive off? You know, we keep talking about that problem. Let's see what happens here.
They're inside the 10. That was a 40-yard run, by the way, by Emmitt Smith. He's up close to 100. Smith the pitch. Smith goes down at about the 3-yard line, tripped up by Lish Trice. And Larry's got something on the field. Larry, go ahead.
Well, David, what I'm trying to get is some sort of understanding about those 2 offsides on return of a kickoff. I've seen a lot of college football. I haven't even seen one of them before, let alone back-to-back. Apparently, the Gator defense, the Gator line is behind the line, but they're leaning forward at the kick, violating the neutral zone. A very rare call. Now the Gators have something more important on their mind, punching it in from inside the 5.
Power I at the 3. Smith hurdling is slammed at the 1. Anthony Collins came up and over the top to keep Emmitt Smith from crossing the goal line. Emmitt.
David, you know it's exciting for you and I to watch Emmitt Smith play. You know it's got to be exciting for his teammates to see him get out there and come up with those big plays and give the leadership to that offense. The guys have tremendous confidence in him, and we're seeing a spectacular effort by Emmitt Smith early in this ball game.
3rd down. Touchdown, Emmitt Smith. And the Gators take the lead. The 26th touchdown of Emmitt Smith's career at Florida. And he's 4 shy now of the school record held by Neil Anderson.
And Darrell Perry, the senior, number 34, throwing an excellent block, as did Dexter McNabb, number 21, who came out the power eye there. Well, they finished that drive off thanks to some excellent blocking up front and the running talent of Emmitt Smith.
John David Francis puts the extra point through, and Florida leads 10-7 with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in the first period. A 4-play drive, and Emmitt Smith carried the ball on all 4 plays. And the first one was the big one, the 40-yard run on first down from the 50-yard line. It took it to the 10. Let's take another look now at not Albert's mouth, but the touchdown run by Emmitt Smith.
And there's Darrell Perry, number 34, the fullback, making the key block, allowing Emmitt Smith to get in the end zone. We'll see the power eye. Excellent blocking up front. Cal Dixon, Chris Bromley. And Emmitt gets the glory, and deservedly so. You know, he's the most amazing running back I've ever seen in terms of bouncing off attempted tackles.
The balance.
It's just incredible.
Is what sets him apart from most running backs. He just has tremendous balance. 87 yards on 11 carries tonight so far for Emmitt Smith. Well on his way to passing the 100 mark. We're still in the first period. Remember, a year ago, Emmitt struggled against a rugged Memphis State defense, and actually they took him out of the game in the second half. He finished with 25 carries and 89 yards in that game. One of the few games that Emmitt Smith did not gain 100 yards in his career.
Emmitt currently 4th, David, in the Southeastern Conference, averaging 108 yards per ball game. And those stats will change this evening if he continues to have the success later on that he's had here in the first quarter. 80-some yards in the first quarter, not a bad effort, huh?
Of course, the wind at his back helps a little bit, too, I guess, Jim. Reginald Jones.
Oh!
With a nice kick return of his own out to the 34-yard line. We've had some exciting plays in this game. We've not yet finished the first period yet. Cox's Long touchdown run, Emmitt Smith's 50-yard run. Exciting kick returns. Let's check again with Larry.
David, before the game began, we talked about the wind being a factor. It really hasn't been early in this ball game, except maybe on the kickoffs. The wind is not as noticeable down here on the field, except when it gusts up to maybe 25 or 30. Then you can feel it at field level. Of course, both teams are running the ball so well they haven't had to throw. Maybe if they put it up in the air, we'll see more of an impact. So far, it hasn't been a factor.
I think the biggest factor was the kickoff from the 45-yard line for Memphis State that ordinarily would have gone through the end zone, and the Gators would have started that drive from their 20, but instead Lomax's return got it to the 50. That's the fullback, Wayne Pryor, out to the 41-yard line, a 6-yard carry. Memphis State's running game, the last 3 plays, has blown some big holes in that Florida defensive line.
Yeah, and very surprising, too, as we look at the summary of the prior drive. 50 yards, 4 plays, Emmitt Smith in for the touchdown. Memphis State had problems last week in Tuscaloosa, but they're running the ball effectively right now.
Ball is fumbled. Jones on the option fumbled the football as Huey Richardson tripped him up, and we've still seen no official indication, although unofficially the Gators certainly think they've recovered the football.
Well, Tim Jones thinks his knee went down before he gave the ball up, and I think he's right. I think his knee went down, hit the turf. Once the knee hits the turf, the ball is dead. Tim Jones, an effective runner. He's carrying it like a loaf of bread there. Yeah, he's down, and the ball squirts out after the play was blown dead.
Number 90, Huey Richardson, made the tackle. Huey on the left side of Florida's line at the outside linebacker spot. On the option, Marvin Cox hit by Mark Murray and dropped at about the 48 or 49-yard line. Memphis State had picked up a first down on that previous play. So that is a gain of 4 for Marvin Cox. And the Tigers continue to pound away on the ground at Florida's defense. Memphis State has thrown only 1 pass in this football game. 42 seconds left in the first period.
David, the Tigers only got 64 yards rushing last week against the Crimson Tide.
Gerald Odom, Brad Culpepper. Cox to stop on Cox, but Cox comes close to another first down. They spot the ball at the 47.5 of Florida. They'll need about 2.5 to pick up the first down on 3rd.
You know, I think this is the first time this year that Gator defense has really gone back to the huddle and said, hey, these guys got an offense. You know, Ole Miss didn't have a drive over 20 yards against the Gators.
The fullback Pryor looking for first down yardage. I think the Gators have stopped him short of the mark. At about the 46, it looks like it'll be 4th and about 1 as the first period expires here at the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. Our first quarter score, the Florida Gators 10, the Memphis State Tigers 7. We'll be back in a moment.
On the line, the North Florida Regional Emergency Center is ready. Not every emergency is life or death, but that's what we're prepared for. In fact, all our personnel are 100% certified in advanced cardiac life support. That's commitment. The job is tough, but we love the work. North Florida Regional Emergency Center.
We make your office feel like home, your home a pleasant place to work.
What's your style? Count on Central Florida Office Supply and National Furniture to create a truly unique office design. Combine our expert design consultation and quality National Furniture for an office that's functional, affordable, and just your style.
Central Florida Office Supply, in the center of everything.
The 30 to the 28-yard line. Memphis State has just pulled a fake punt.
And a beautiful play it was for the Tigers. From our view, we thought the ball was sailing over the head of the punter. Fake as if the ball had sailed over his head. and it was Wayne Pryor, the Tigers' leading rusher, who had the football.
He got a great block from Troy Thompson to pick up big yardage on the fake punt. So Memphis State still has the ball. Cox is swarmed by Fee Bartley for a loss of a yard, and for the second time this season, the Florida Gators have been victimized by a fake punt. The Ole Miss Rebels kept the drive going.
And they were in great field position to try it. If it had not worked, they would not give the ball up in that bad a situation. You know, as we look at the Tigers, Tim Jones, the stable of running backs that they have on the field, these are the same kids that came down to Gainesville last year and beat the Gators.
Jones fakes the handoff. He is throwing for the end zone, and it is incomplete, intended for Ray Kraft, who was double covered by Richard Fain, Florida's cornerback on that side, and the free safety Greg Grandison. Excellent coverage by Florida's secondary on Ray Kraft. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 11.
Grandison does an excellent job here as the safety to come over and help his cornerback. He's reading Tim Jones. He sees the direction he's looking, and he breaks on the ball and just floating, waiting to time his jump. But Grandison in excellent coverage right there. Had the play sized up from the get-go.
3rd down and 11. Jones is hit. Jones is dropped at the 31-yard line. And it is Huey Richardson. And what a nice sight to see that big number 90 back on the field on that Gator defensive side of the ball.
I agree. He's a tremendous talent. He's getting a chance to play. We've seen his first action of the season. Fee Bartley also putting pressure on the quarterback, but Big Huey coming up with a sack. But a lot of speed out there on defense for the Gators.
This field goal will be about 47 yards out for John Butler, but he has a strong wind at his back. The kick has plenty of distance, and it is good. John Butler just tied it up.
Many people in Brantford grew up swimming this spring next to the Swanee River. If you come down here at night with a flashlight, you can see big old catfish and brim. And if you come to see Westgate Mobile Homes in Gainesville, you'll see some terrific values. For over 25 years, Westgate has been the leader in providing affordable housing for thousands of families. See any catfish yet? No. Here, get a closer look. Oh. All roads lead to Gainesville for the best deal on a mobile home.
Hi, I'm Roderick Easton, the owner of Roderick's Classic Clothing in the Creekside Mall. Come on into Roderick's this season. I promise you the best value, the best selection, and the best quality in North Central Florida. We specialize in the interview suit for men and women. So remember, as long as the others follow, Roderick's leads the way.
The point is, Roderick's does lead the way.
David Steele and Jim Yarborough from the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a 10-10 tie with 12:58 to play in the first half as John Butler, man you're looking at there, just kicked one through from 47 yards out. Butler, very reliable kicker for Memphis State throughout his career, a senior out of Phoenix City, Alabama. With the wind at his back, sends it to the goal line. Tony Lomack to the 25-yard line, and there is a penalty flag on the play. Can't seem to get these kickoffs right for one reason or another. Chris Hobbs made the stop for Memphis State.
I tell you, we got a lot of exciting action here this evening. That first quarter was filled with thrills.
A face mask penalty will go against Memphis State, would appear.
And it looks like it's going to be 15? No, it's just 5.
The unintentional variety. Another look at the end of the play.
Tony Lomack, the senior that had his first career touchdown reception last week against Louisiana Tech, seeing a lot of duty on kickoff returns tonight.
Barber and Lomack, the wide receivers. from the 31-yard line. Willie McClendon, the tailback, as Morris fakes the handoff and guns it upfield for the tight end, Harvey Thomas. And Thomas holds on to the football at the 47-yard line. Glenn Rogers Jr. made the tackle. That is the second career reception for young Harvey Thomas. He caught one last week against Louisiana Tech.
Kyle Morris has his fullback open in the flat, but he decides to go down a little deeper, hitting the big tight end right there. A bit risky, excellent coverage, but Kyle was able to get the ball in. As we see, he's 4 of 7 tonight for 52 yards, having a good evening.
Willie McClendon, who fumbled the ball on his first carry tonight, holds on to it this time. Reginald Jones and Torrey Epps knock him down after a gain of 3. An impressive Memphis State drive.
Helped, of course, by that fake punt. That was the biggest play of that drive.
Second down and 8. Florida at the Gator 49-yard line. Barber and Alonzo Sullivan split wide to the right. Backs in a pro set. Smith and McClendon. Morris in all kinds of trouble. Memphis State had the blitz on, and Morris goes down at the 38-yard line. Torrey Epps gets credit for the sack. Let's check with Larry Vittel. Larry?
David, a couple of things. First of all, when the Gators are back on defense, keep an eye on the strong safety spot. Marquette Oliver was not in on that last sequence. He has a bruised thigh. Myrick Anderson, a redshirt freshman, was playing in his place. And as far as the controversy, offsides on receiving the kickoff, Florida did not have 5 men lined up. It's really an illegal procedure violation, but that's what the call was, and it was a good one.
Third down and long for the Gators, about 20. This is a draw play to Willie McClendon, and McClendon gets about 5 or 6, but nowhere near enough to keep the drive going, and the Gators will have to punt the ball for the first time tonight.
Well, the Tiger fans are standing and cheering their defense because I believe that's the first time, really, that the Tiger defense has stopped the Gator offense tonight. The Gators have stopped themselves a number of times, but Memphis State did an excellent job on that series, shutting down the Gators.
Herbert Perry kicks it, and Jimmy Spencer downs it at the 35-yard line.
Very
into
short
a stiff wind.
Yeah, short punt. Again, the Gators having problems with the punting game, but that wind compounds things this evening. It's really swirling down there on the field, and Memphis State will have the ball just inside their 35-yard line.
That's a 22-yard punt by Herbert Perry. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to play in the first half. Florida 10, Memphis State 10. The fullback, Pryor, bangs it out to the 37 or 8-yard line, a gain of 2 or 3 yards. Brad Culpepper makes another tackle for the Gator defense. Big number 50, whose father, Bruce, was an all-Southeastern Conference center for the Florida Gators in the early 1960s. Bruce is here in Memphis to watch son Brad play against Memphis State. Jones optioning left. Murray grabs him and throws him down at the 38-yard line.
David, Mark Murray just playing an excellent ball game again this evening. We've talked about him in the Gators' prior 2 ball games being so effective with a pass rush because of his speed. Right here, his speed allows him to stretch out the play, stretch out Tim Jones, the quarterback, and simply ran with him step for step and then comes up with the tackle. Just excellent play by Mark Murray, who lines up on the weak side there at the top of your screen for the Gator defense.
Third down and 7. Pryor is stacked up at the 41. They're 4 yards short of a first down, so Memphis State will have to give it back to the Florida Gators.
Things have kind of settled down here a little bit. A lot of offensive fireworks in the first quarter, and now the defense has come out in succession and shut the opponents down. 3 plays and a punt.
Galen Hall is still toying with his punt returns. This time he trots Terrence Barber and Stacy Simmons out. Tony Lomack has returned some punts for the Gators this year, and most of the time in the first 2 games we'd seen a 1-back return, but the Gators have gone to 2 backs in this game. This is Simmons, who fumbles it and then tries to fall on it at the 11-yard line, and I believe he did. With the wind at his back, Jeff Feit got off a beauty. 49 yards and no return.
You know, Feit, his first year punting 2 years ago here at Memphis State, only averaged about 38, 39 yards a punt. Last year he comes along and starts to average 42, 43. This year he's booming the football 3 games, and as we look at Chuck Stobart on the sideline, he's got to be pleased with his punting game.
Head coach at Toledo for 5 years, the University of Utah for 3 more years, and in his first year at Memphis State. As we mentioned, came to Memphis State from Southern Cal, where he was an offensive coach. Emmett Smith carries the football, tough yards out to the 15. Scott Rumley, the junior linebacker out of Dallas, Texas, number 46, made the tackle. Florida scored first on a Francis field goal. Memphis State took the lead 7-3 on a Marvin Cox 67-yard touchdown run. And then the Gators scored to reclaim the lead, but Memphis State came back with a Butler field goal, and we're tied at 10-10. Second down. Ernie Mills hangs on to that football with Reginald Jones all over him. That's Mills' first reception tonight, the converted defensive back out of Dunnellon, Florida.
Gators feel like the corners are playing a little soft here, so Ernie Mills simply runs out about 5 yards, does a button hook. Kyle Morris on the money. That's a nice play. Now the Gators have a 3rd and short, and with a powerful running game, hopefully they got a shot at picking it up.
Florida comes with 2 tight ends and a power I backfield, and Kyle Morris calls timeout. Clock stops, 7:02 to play in the half. Our score, Florida 10.
Well, I'll tell you something that won't make you laugh, but it will excite your taste buds.
Yeah, what's that?
Ah Shucks.
Ooh.
Ah Shucks is a great place for fresh gourmet seafood. They treat their fish as if it were their own. And Ah Shucks also has a killer bar.
They have gourmet dinners and a killer bar. What else?
Well, the crew at Ah Shucks is real friendly and always ready to serve you exactly what you want. And the atmosphere is always festive.
Are they open for lunch, too?
Yeah, but that's another story.
There's a spa that's made for every part of you. A hot spring portable spa, made to massage your feet, your legs, and made to soothe your back. With an automatic back rub like no other spa. And Hot Spring is the most reliable name in spas, which will ease another part of you, your mind. So before you buy a spa, test a Hot Spring spa. The smart choice.
Custom-built saunas and spas, Newberry Square, Gainesville.
Third down and 1 from the 20-yard line. Perry in motion. Emmett Smith has the first down. And had he broken through that tackle, Jim Yarborough, there might have been a lot more yardage on top of that.
Well,
we saved a big play there for Memphis State.
We mentioned on short yardage defense, sometimes the defenders will get bunched up there, and Emmett Smith was able to bounce one out a little bit earlier. The Gators line up in a power I. Darrell Perry again, the senior fullback, throws an excellent block in. One more foot in that crease right there, and Emmett would still be running.
Emmett Smith is out. Willie McClendon is in at tailback. Tony Lomack in motion. Morris on a sprint pass completes the ball upfield to Terrence Barber at the 38-yard line. Reginald Jones covering, but nice throw and a nice catch by Barber.
Yeah, David, I think at this point in the ball game, you got to say this Gator offense is looking the best it's looked in this 89 season. They're running effectively. Kyle Morris here throwing, again, an excellent pass. The running game, the passing game, they seem to be building confidence out there with their offensive efforts this evening. The Gators looking very sharp. Again, they just need to get more points on the board, but offense has been impressive.
Willie McClendon had nowhere to go that time, trying to find a crease on the right side of the line, and sophomore James Moore made the tackle. The broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the University of Florida solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited. Terrence Barber has checked out. Ernie Mills is checked into the Florida lineup. On 2nd down and 8. Good protection again for Morris. Emmitt Smith eludes one Tiger tackler and steps out of bounds at the 46-yard line. 1 yard short of a first down. Scott Rumley chased him away in front of the Memphis State bench.
David, you know, if you pitch the ball to Emmitt Smith and he gains 5 or 6 yards, you say, hey, that was a great play. That was an effective running effort. But here the Gators accomplished the same thing by letting him just drag in front of the linebackers, get the ball to Emmitt. Now watch, once he catches the ball, he's going to pick up another 5 yards with his speed by being able to outrun the linebackers. You know, so whether you pitch it to him and let him get outside for 5, or you let him run a little drag route and dump the ball off to him and pick up 5, Emmitt's effective either way.
Again from the power I on 3rd and 1. The handoff to Smith. He'll have the first down. The only question is how much more will he get? And the answer is about 4 or 5 additional yards as Anthony Collins makes the tackle. An impressive drive in progress now for the Gators. They began way back at their 11-yard line. They've run about 4 minutes off the clock. There are now less than 5 minutes to play in the first half. We are in a 10-10 tie from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee.
Big guys up front doing an excellent job. Mark White, number 60. Cal Dixon, 59. Chris Bromley, number 52. Neely, the left tackle. Big John Durden, the right tackle.
Play action pass. Stacy Simmons. They will not catch him. Touchdown, Simmons and the Gators.
And that ball hit him in the chin strap. That ball hit him in the chin. It was so well thrown. In stride.
And that is Simmons' first touchdown reception of this season and his 7th touchdown reception of a brilliant career for the little guy out of Dunedin, Florida. Gators have retaken the lead now 16-0. Kyle Morris has thrown his 4th touchdown pass of the year. And John David Francis will try and make it a 17-10 lead, which he does. 4:28 left in the first half of the football game. And the Gators on the arm of Kyle Morris have taken the lead 17-10.
You know what's fun? Living in Florida. It's summer all year. And this is fun. Driving a hot new Jeep convertible from Richard Kelly. I'm Richard Kelly. And you know you can buy this Jeep with no down payment and only $199 a month. Or, if a convertible is not practical, maybe a 4-wheel drive Cherokee is. And for only $349 a month, it's fun too. Hey, what do you think? Want to put a little fun in your life? Come see us at Richard Kelly.
At Alachua General Hospital, we know it takes total commitment to win the fight against heart disease. This desire to see our patients resume healthy, productive lives is what makes the heart team at Alachua General the area's leader in the fight. But state-of-the-art technology isn't our only weapon, for nothing is more important than the quality of our heart team. And only at Alachua General are all the cardiologists board certified. Alachua General Hospital, for over 60 years, the leader.
Florida just went 89 yards.
In a hurry.
That drive in a real hurry. 8 plays, but the big one, the 48-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Morris to Stacy Simmons. A high short kick is fielded by an up man, Herbert Kendall from Memphis State. And let's look at the touchdown pass again from Morris to Simmons.
Stacy Simmons was so exciting last year for the Gators until he got hurt with that great speed. And here he simply runs away from the secondary. But was that ball ever delivered on the money by Kyle Morris? Stacy starting to celebrate a bit too early right there. But I guess when you got that kind of speed, you can afford to do that. But that's the big play potential that you expect from that young man based on his performance from early last year.
Appears to be fully recovered from major knee damage. Oh, what a hit. What a hit back at the 19-yard line by Pat Moore, the linebacker. The senior from Pensacola really drilled the quarterback, Tim Jones.
Mark Murray sets him up again, David. Mark Murray with the speed chasing Tim Jones. Watch Mark Murray break through at the top of your screen. He's going to start chasing Tim Jones. He knows he's in trouble. Pat Moore draws a bead on him and just levels him. Big hit by Moore, one of the Gators' leading tacklers from a year ago, the walk-on who earned a scholarship.
Gerald White, the new tailback for Memphis State, out to the 27-yard line. White, a senior out of Pritchard, Alabama, number 22. There's the numbers on Florida's last possession. From their 11-yard line and 8 impressive plays. 4 passes completed by Kyle Morris on that drive. And the Florida Gator offense running on all cylinders in Memphis, Tennessee here this evening. Jones wants to throw on 3rd down. The ball is caught, but was he in or out of bounds? Ray Kraft, the receiver, must have gotten a foot in there, and they are going to give him the reception at the 44-yard line.
There was a timing pattern, and Tim Jones was waiting for Kraft to break to the sideline about 15 yards on the out route, and it was just an excellent pass by Jones. Dropped the ball in there just before Kraft went out of bounds.
And that's Jones's first completion in the game. John Norman, the new fullback. Gerald White broke a tackle before Watkins planted him at the 50. Let's check with Larry Vittel. Larry?
David, in many ways, that last Gator offensive possession may have been their best drive of the year to this point. They needed to establish a little bit of supremacy. Memphis State's played the Gators awfully tough. 89 yards, mixing the run and pass. Kyle connecting with Stacy Simmons. Everything Florida could want. Now they want their defense to give them the ball back before halftime while they still have the lead.
Clock running. We're inside of 2.5 minutes in the first half. Jones kept it on the option, and Gerald Odom kept Jones behind the line of scrimmage. Back near the 50-yard line. Clock running with now 2:12 left, and Memphis State has all 3 timeouts left. As Odom makes another big play behind the line of scrimmage, but now Memphis State must get 4 yards here just to keep the football, and they let the clock run for the time being at 1:56 now in the first half.
And they've had problems passing the ball all year with less than 33% completion average.
I think we had a fumble. The ball was juggled on the exchange between the quarterback and Gerald White, and the Gators have recovered a fumble.
Mark Murray, it looks like, David, has got the football. Huey Richardson alongside Mark Murray, both of them on that fumble, and the Gators got a tremendous opportunity right here.
John Norman, the fullback, was trying to receive the exchange from quarterback Tim Jones. I don't think he ever had a good handle on it. And Florida now has a chance with 1:45 left. The Gators still have 2 timeouts left. And Morris is back to throw again. That is the tight end, Kirkpatrick. Scott Rumley, the inside linebacker, makes the tackle for Memphis State.
Well, this is the Kyle Morris that the Gators saw during spring practice and during early fall drills. He's playing with a lot of confidence. He is a much improved player based on his play here in Memphis this evening.
Morris will keep it. Morris is out of bounds. He stops the clock with 1:17 left in the half. And Kyle Morris gets the first down to the 28-yard line of Memphis State.
You know, Gator fans obviously want good things to happen for this young man when he gets out on the field. And this evening, he's certainly making good things happen. When the receivers are not open, he has the athletic ability to move down the field. Instead of taking the sack, he picks up a few yards. Kyle Morris playing an excellent ball game here against the Tigers this evening.
First down from the 28. Fakes the handoff and guns that ball in there, but it was off the fingertips of Tony Lomack. May have been tipped before it got to Lomack. Several Tigers were in the area, but Morris really gunned it in there, Jim.
Yeah, he took a bit of a risk right there. Sometimes there's a thin line between being confident and being overconfident. I think right there he tried to zip the ball in there, and fortunately the ball fell to the ground. It did bounce up in the air, but he throws a rocket, and it went into Lomac's hands. I think Lomac could have caught that ball.
I believe it was tipped before it got to Tony Lomac.
I think it just bounced off his shoulder pad.
Pressure coming from the outside. Again, Morris is on target. Stacy Simmons will have a first down as the clock stops with 1 minute, 1 second left. As they move the chains, again, Florida still has 2 timeouts left. The Gators marching toward that north end zone into a stiff northerly breeze, leading Memphis State 17-10 and looking for more points here late in the first half.
Larry Vitale said from the sideline he knew that Gator offense wanted to get back out on the field, and they're showing that's exactly what they wanted to do. Let's get back out there and get some more points. They are playing with a lot of confidence.
Emmett Smith is tackled inside the 15 at the 13 by Anthony Collins. And the Gators are going to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts, stopping the clock with 44 seconds left in the half.
In the blue, you see new quarterback coach Bill Cubitt standing between Galen Hall and Kyle Morris. Bill Cubitt coming from Martin County High School, where he had an excellent record as a head coach there. Prior to that, he was at UCF.
Be sure to join Sports Channel for the next exciting Florida Gator football telecast. September 30th, next Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Watch Heisman Trophy candidate Emmett Smith and the Fighting Gators take on the Bulldogs of Mississippi State right here on Sports Channel. Check your local listings for date and time. Disappointing loss earlier on Saturday by Mississippi State to the Georgia Bulldogs, but Mississippi State has shown that they are a very capable football team and been off to an excellent start before that loss in Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what Mississippi State's record is. They always play the Gators tough. And what are they, 3-1? 3-1 now.
Second down. Ball inside the 15 and about the Memphis State 13-yard line. Willie McClendon is the new tailback. That's McClendon in motion. Morris rolling and throwing, and he's got his receiver. That is Simmons, and that is a touchdown. Lomac, rather, the touchdown for the Gators.
Gators flooding the area over there with receivers, and Morris just delivers a perfect pass to Tony Lomac, who was covered. Steve Smith in coverage, but Lomac had a step, and Kyle Morris again delivers a big touchdown pass. That big play is in that Gator repertoire now. The passing game is very effective here the last 2 weeks for the Gators. Makes for some exciting offensive football.
A lot of confidence in that passing game as John David Francis kicks it through. And again on that drive, which began after Memphis State fumbled the football up around midfield, was highlighted by the passing of Kyle Morris.
Well, that's how you win. The Gator defense gets the ball on the turnover, then the offense comes out and gets production. They get the points. Flooding the area. You see Willie McClendon celebrating right there, but Lomac just has inside position on the defender. Kyle Morris, excellent protection all the time in the world. Steve Smith in coverage. He was there, but you can't defend against a pass that's so perfectly thrown. Just a beautiful job by the quarterback, Morris, and his receiver, Lomac, who now has 2 touchdowns tonight.
Nope, 2 in his career. 1 tonight. Simmons
one
got
tonight,
the other.
1 last week. Simmons got the other one tonight.
But you know, on that drive, Morris threw 4 passes. He completed 3 of them, one of them the touchdown pass, and even the one that fell incomplete was a real dart thrown by Kyle and off the shoulder pads of Tony Lomac and could have been completed. So Kyle Morris, we've not seen him this sharp in his career at Florida, I don't think. My recollections of Morris's performance up until now, he had some great games early last year against some of the 1AA ball clubs, but this is a pretty good Memphis State football team.
Yeah, they are 0-3, but they're certainly playing the Gators tough here this season.
John Norman returns the kick to about the 40-yard line. 33 seconds left. Memphis State still has all 3 timeouts left. Kyle Morris has completed 2 touchdown passes in this game. He's now thrown 5 touchdown passes this year, whereas in all of last year, Morris threw only 3 touchdown passes. Cox is hit back at the 40, and the natives are restless in Memphis, Tennessee. With time running out of the first half, they would like to see Memphis State perhaps show a little bit more imagination in their offense and try and put something on the board here.
Yeah, they'd like to see the ball in the air. They don't understand the running attack with 10 seconds to go when you're behind 24-10 in the first half.
Gators in a 3-man rush. And the draw play gathers about 10 or 15 yards, but that's the final play of the first half. And after a real struggle early on in the first half of the football game, the Gators on their last 2 possessions very impressively have taken a 2-touchdown lead. A halftime score, Florida 24, Memphis State 10. We'll be back.
Brett came to us following a suicide attempt.
Brett!
We did a thorough medical and psychiatric evaluation.
Let's look at the treatment plan. We'll do individual, group, and family therapy.
How about setting some goals for next week? We helped Brett and his family understand what was going on with him.
Thanks for the help.
Yo, Brett. He's back in school now. I think he's going to be all right. I really think he is.
Call HCA Grant Center Hospital, North Florida, 595-3500.
Bracington Cadillac Oldsmobile's year-end closeout is a saving success. Right now, we have less than 50 new Oldsmobiles left. During our factory-authorized sale, 1989 Toronados come with a $2,500 incentive, $2,000 incentives on Sierra 4-door and Cutlass wagons, our most popular Oldsmobiles. Bracington is ready to clear out the lot and pass the savings on to you. Sale ends September 27th, so hurry to Bracington Cadillac Oldsmobile, 2001 Northwest 13th Street, Gainesville.
Harmon Photos Are Nice has everything you need to take better photos. Our photo finishing services include 1-hour processing and enlargements while you wait, up to 18 by 36 inches. We also carry a complete line of cameras, tripods, and accessories. Our staff of experts can advise you on the best equipment and latest techniques, and our framing department can custom frame any size print. So whether you need film processing or a whole new outfit, you'll find everything you need at Harmon Photos Are Nice.
Good evening, everyone. Gators with a 24-10 lead at halftime over Memphis State. We sure hope you're enjoying the game so far. We'll have more from Memphis in a few minutes, but first a look at some of today's news. A 22-year-old man is in a Jacksonville hospital tonight following a collision with a train. The accident occurred at around 10 this morning, about 4 miles west of Stark on Sampson Trestle Road. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, Charles Daniel Dobbs was heading east, approaching a CSX railroad crossing. Witnesses told the patrol that a southbound coal train sounded its horn as it approached the crossing, but Dobbs did not slow down or stop. The train smashed into the driver's side of the pickup, seriously injuring Dobbs. He was taken to University Hospital in Jacksonville by helicopter after rescue workers got him out of the truck. 2 separate head-on accidents in north central Florida have left 3 people dead. Just past midnight near Ocala, Troy Toms was heading west on State Road 40 when he crossed into the eastbound lane. Toms ran into a car driven by 22-year-old Craig Braymiller of Ocklawaha. Braymiller was killed in the collision. The other wreck was on State Road 100 just east of Keystone Heights. Around 3 this morning, 80-year-old Sam Richardson and his 75-year-old wife Rosa were westbound on 100. The car went into the eastbound lane and smashed into a car driven by Stephen Rowland. The collision killed both Sam and Rosa Richardson. Rowland received only minor injuries. Charges are pending in both accidents. Damage in Charleston, South Carolina is now estimated as high as $3 billion. 10 people are known dead and 20 to 30 remain hospitalized. That after Hurricane Hugo took the coastal community by storm early Friday morning. Emergency crews are working around the clock with cleanup efforts while residents are doing their best to get by without power or phone service. The National Guard is on duty in Charleston to enforce a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew. Police say so far there have been only isolated reports of looting. Of course, Hugo is no longer a threat. In fact, it has worn itself out in Canada. Larry joins us now with our weather here. Larry?
Thanks, Doris. Current temperature in north central Florida is about 74 degrees. We're under cloudy skies. Humidity is up to about 97%. The pressure is rising a little bit. Winds are calm right now. There's a trough running right across the state of Florida. That's providing a lot of thunderstorm activity in the central and northern part of the state. And Daytona Beach radar shows those showers somewhere around the Jacksonville area, stretching down the eastern coastline and back through the central part of the state. Some of them are heavy around Putnam County. They're moving off to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So most of the western part of the viewing area will be clear from showers tonight. Here's the frontal system that's moving through. It's causing such cool temperatures throughout the area. And there's a trough that's causing the showers in our area. By tomorrow, that frontal system will move through, providing us with rain and cooler temperatures. Highs tomorrow will only be in the 70s in north central Florida. Our lows this morning were around the 70-degree mark. Our highs were in the low 80s for the most part. Those are the coastal conditions. On the Gulf, it will be a little rough. And overnight tonight, low about 68 degrees under cloudy skies. More clouds tomorrow with thunderstorm activity, highs about 79. And extending the forecast, cloudy conditions all the way through Wednesday with highs in the low 80s. Here's Doris.
Thanks, Larry. When TV20's halftime report continues, John Cornell will have more on today's sports. Plus, we'll go live to Memphis and Gary Mendelow for an update of the Gator game. I'll see you back here after the game, but until then, thanks for joining us. Good night.
Hello, it's that time of year again, hunting season. And Jim ran out and bought him a remote control hunting dog. It's called Robodog. Over the years, we've sold many homes to hunters and other folk. They know there's nothing like coming home to a Fleetwood after a day in the outdoors. Looks like Jim is getting Robodog under control. Now we just have to see if he's good at tracking deer. When you're hunting for the best deal on a mobile home, come see Gene, Jim, and Roy.
For over 10 years, Chef Elma of the beautiful Sovereign Restaurant has been saying, you all know the line, I promise you the very best food in Gainesville. Well, Chef Elma is my dad, and I promise you that my dad would never tell a lie. I mean, break a promise. And it's a great place for private parties, too.
When you need a part for your car or truck, it's time to think of Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts. Our huge inventory of carefully selected low-mileage car and truck parts is the largest in this part of the world, and it's as close as your telephone, and every part is fully guaranteed. Taillights, engines, fenders, transmissions, bucket seats, carburetors, electrical or body parts. Always think Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts first. With our low prices, you'll never buy new parts again. From BMWs to Volkswagens, Escorts to Continentals, call Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts anywhere in Florida.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Of course, halftime up at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, 24-10. Florida is ahead of Memphis State. Stacy Simmons having a big game, as is Kyle Moore Simmons with 2 touchdowns. Let's take a look quickly now at the top 25 and how they did today in college football. Here are some of the scores we have. Nebraska and Minnesota. The score there, well, it's not Minnesota 24, but rather Nebraska 24, Minnesota 0. That game is at halftime. Clemson is idle. Michigan and UCLA at 7-0. The Bruins leading the Michigan Wolverines. The Wolverines, of course, expected maybe to make a return trip to the Rose Bowl, and right now having trouble out there as they usually always do. Colorado, well, they're not ranked 4th, but they are ranked 6th, and they are idle this weekend. Other ball games to report. Clemson 31, Maryland 7. That game is a final, that being played in Death Valley. The Tigers still unbeaten, look very good right now to stay unbeaten until they possibly play North Carolina State, and that may be their toughest game of the year. This game is in the 3rd is Arkansas, the Hogs, and the Ole Miss Rebels. The score there, 17-14. That game, as well as I said, in the 3rd period up in Jackson, Mississippi. That, of course, a big, big rivalry. West Virginia beat Louisville. The score there was 30-21. Louisville loses to West Virginia, 31-20. West Virginia stays unbeaten, and this will, of course, probably stay in the top 10. Pittsburgh right now leads Syracuse. The score there up in the Steel City is 30-20. In the 3rd period, the Panthers trying to beat the unbeaten Orangemen to find out who just is the beast of the East. Arizona, no score with Washington. They just kicked that one off out in Tucson. Of course, the Wildcats, big winners last weekend as they hosted Oklahoma. That game just getting underway. Ohio State absolutely had nothing today. Southern California finding an offense and blowing out the Buckeyes. The Big Ten taking what you could call a beating out west. Right now, Southern Cal, they have beaten Ohio State to score out there 42-3. Tennessee is idle. They will be playing Auburn next week in Knoxville. So Tennessee looks pretty good. Kentucky loses to Alabama 15-3. The Crimson Tide lost their quarterback Jeff Dunn for 4 to 6 weeks, but they did manage to put on a good defensive effort, and they did beat the Wildcats today at home
15-13. Oklahoma had the week off. North Carolina State 40. The Tar Heels 6 in a battle of schools not very far apart from each other. Other scores, Washington State beats Wyoming. The Cowboys still looking for that win, 29-23 there. Illinois 41, Utah State 2. Illinois number 20, and Texas A&M, they were idle. SEC action today between the hedges. We had the Georgia Bulldogs and Mississippi State going at it. Mississippi State will play Florida next week, but the Georgia Dogs score first here. Greg Talley finds Chris Broom. That makes it 7-0. Mississippi State scored but missed the PAT. Then Larry Ware goes in to make it 13-6 Georgia. Dogs playing defense all day. Big interception right here. And it was a Georgia Bulldog day. They won this ball game 23-6. Okay, now we will be ready to go now to Gary Mendelow, who is up in the Liberty Bowl, standing by in a chilly Liberty Bowl. Gary, what else is happening up in Memphis?
Thank you very much, John. We're joined by a special guest. Bill Arnsparger, the athletic director of the University of Florida, joins us. And Bill, you must be pretty happy right now.
It's been a good first half. Great night for football. A little cool and just a great night. But, I think we played well after we got settled down. Kyle's done a good job throwing the ball. He picked the blitz up well. And Stacy's got a nice one there, and then Lomack right at the end. And but hopefully there's just things to come in the second half.
I'll tell you, as a defensive coach for a number of years, head coach for the Giants, you must understand a great deal about team speed, and I think the Gators' team speed is really what's coming to the forefront lately.
Well, the defense has played real well. It's just interesting to watch Huey. He's been chasing the ball well and just really getting after it. And of course, Emmett, he had 100 yards midway in the second quarter. So we just got to continue to get better and hopefully get some things done in the second half.
Bill, I guess unfortunately a lot of attention this football season has been focused away from the football team. Some things going on, allegations coming out against the university and the athletic department. How do you respond to the things coming out so far?
Well, I think I've said from the beginning that we're studying the things that have been in the paper. I guess you say you're studying them, and I think the university will be prepared to take whatever action, any decision or decisions need to be made, will be prepared to take that at the proper time when the facts become clear. I think you always have to understand who's saying those things and under what circumstances they're saying them, and our focus is still on our program, and we will keep it there, and we're pleased about the way things are going.
The rumors like you don't get along with Norm Sloan and you don't get along with Galen Hall, do they bother you?
No, not really. It's sort of, I guess, when a person needs to create something, the people are under the gun a lot of times to accomplish their job, and some people have to create things, and sometimes they search for things to create and talk about. But again, I think you have to understand who's saying it and under what circumstances they're saying it. My responsibility is to work with all of our coaches, and I think our program in the last 3 years since we've been here, it speaks for itself as to what we've accomplished athletically and what we've accomplished academically, and the way we've lived and tried to conduct ourselves. We're improving in all those areas, and that's really what makes intercollegiate athletics the sport and the game it is.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. Bill Arnsparger took over here at Florida in January of 1987, and the Gators have come a long way. We're going to be back with more news coming up for you here on TV 20 right after this timeout.
Introducing the new super value menu from Wendy's. Junior bacon cheeseburger tastes so fine. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. I ain't telling you no lies. Big in drink and big in fries. What you get is what you see. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. Hot dog and a cool frosty. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Look for these 5 big items for 99 cents each, and other great values on Wendy's new super value menu.
Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Of course, so far, it looks good for the orange and blue. 24-10 leaders over Memphis State. More college scores to report from today's action. A busy night also,
But look at Florida State. You thought that maybe they were on the south side of games in the beginning of the season. Well, they have turned it up a notch, and they are playing very well, and it would be easy enough to say that it'd be not a good idea to play them right now. They are winning 59-6 over Tulane. They seem to have found an offense and definitely have found a defense. Penn State, it's really hard to find out what they've found. They only beat Boston College today at home in the last minute of the fourth quarter with a touchdown. They beat them by 4 today. The score up at State College was 7-3. Other scores, Texas easily over SMU. Of course, that was expected. SMU did win last week against Connecticut. Texas, though, the easy winner today out in Fort Worth, Texas. The Army, the Cadets, 14-10 over Wake Forest out of the ACC. Army losers last week to Syracuse, rebounds and gets back in the winning column. Iowa, the battle of the Farm Belt, I guess, if you will. 31-21 winners over their cross-state rivals, the Cyclones. Other scores, Cincinnati, the Bearcats. I'm sure Larry Hanley is very pleased to see his hometown team winning today over Miami. The score there, 30-14. The Big Ten, as I said, as usual, loses, and out west they lose again. California beats Wisconsin 20-14. So we'll take a look at some Florida stats after this quick timeout.
Ever thought about getting a new guitar?
If you play lotto, you could win millions of dollars.
Yeah, one of those fancy ones like the big stars use.
Enough money to do practically anything you want.
You know, with a guitar like that, I could make the big time. Maybe you should start with a few lessons.
And still have some left over for the little things.
If someone injures you in a traffic accident, you need the professional advice of an attorney to answer your questions and to help you receive the compensation you deserve. If you suffer injuries in a car accident, who will pay your medical bills? Lost wages? How can you collect for pain and suffering? If you've had a car accident, attorney Stephen A. Bagan can help. For answers to any questions about your legal rights, call attorney Stephen A. Bagan for a free consultation. No recovery, no fee.
Florida, of course, so far winning. So far it looks good. Let's take a look at the first half statistics from the game tonight. Memphis State only 3 first downs. Florida 13 first downs. Rushing, Florida a little bit behind in the rushing category, but that really doesn't matter. Passing, Florida way ahead. Kyle Morris, as I said, having a good day. 2 touchdown passes already to Stacy Simmons. We'll have highlights at 11. Total yardage, Florida by 100, it seems. Turnovers, the Gators have turned it over 2 times, and penalties, really not much of a factor thus far. But the first downs and the time of possession definitely in Florida's favor. If they continue to do that, the second half should be quite fun. And we will have, of course, that second half here on TV 20 coming up very shortly. (24-10) at the half. Florida leads Memphis State. The Gators so far offensively doing very well. Okay, I am informed now that we're going to go back and rejoin the top 20. The top 20 from today's action in college football. Number 1 was Notre Dame beating Michigan State. Notre Dame does beat Michigan State. They beat them by 8 points at home, 21-13. Miami, no trouble with Missouri, although we don't see that. That is a final 38-7. Miami beats Missouri. The Cornhuskers, as I said earlier, 24-0 ahead of Minnesota. That game is at the half. Clemson was not idle. They won also today. They are ranked 6th nationally. They beat the Maryland Terrapins today in a rather easy win, 31-7. Other scores from the top 20 today. Mississippi, or rather Michigan, excuse me, trailing the UCLA Bruins by a touchdown in the second period. That game should be close to the halftime right now. They started the same time the Gators did, or actually they started a little bit before the Florida game. Colorado is idle this week. They will play, of course, next week. Maryland and Clemson, as I said, there are the Tigers, 31-7 winners. Arkansas, Mississippi, that game is in the third period. At last report, they lead the Rebels. A big rivalry up there. Neither state likes each other, neither university likes each other, and neither team likes each other. And right now, they are going at it hot and heavy in Jackson, Mississippi, with the Rebels on the short end right now. Louisville lost to West Virginia. The score there was 31-20, but West Virginia was the team that won. Louisville playing very well. West Virginia had to score a touchdown in the last minute to go ahead. Then they got a freebie at the very end. Louisville playing very tough with Howard Schnellenberger trying to bring that program around. Syracuse losers right now by 10 points to Pittsburgh. That is in the third period. The Pitt Panthers are leading. Arizona and Washington just kicking it off out in Tucson, Arizona. Ohio State went out west, and as usual, the Big Ten lost out west, and today it was Southern California putting the wood to the Buckeyes, 42-3. That game was never close. Other scores, Alabama wins. They lose their starting quarterback. Jeff Dunn, 4 to 6 weeks, but they do get the win. Oklahoma was idle. North Carolina, they might as well have been idle. They lost to North Carolina State today. Wyoming losers, as was Utah State. We are now ready to go back to the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, the Gators and the Tigers.
David Steele and Jim Yarborough from Memphis, Tennessee. Second half action just a few moments away from the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Florida with a 24-10 lead over Memphis State, and here's how they did it in the first half of the football game. After a John David Francis 37-yard field goal, putting the Gators up 3-0, Memphis State came back on its next possession, and the 67-yard run by Cox put Memphis State on top 7-3. But Florida, after a series of kicks because of Florida penalties, got the ball at the 50. Emmitt Smith carried it in for the score. 47-yard field goal by Butler of Memphis State, and then the touchdown passes from Morris to Simmons and Tony Lomack give the Gators a 24-10 first half lead, and we are just about set for the second half kickoff, as head coach Galen Hall has got to feel a bit comfortable at this point of the game, although still a lot of action left to play here in Memphis. And his team with the advantage, 24-10. John Butler to kick it off. And the second half is underway from Memphis, Tennessee. Tony Lomack fumbles it and kicks it around, but picks it up at the 10. And down he goes at the 17-yard line. Reginald Jones made the tackle.
Now the question here, David, is can that Gator offense remain consistent? Can they have the same kind of success in the second half that they had in the first half? Just the best production of the '89 season easily in the first half by this Gator offense. Let's see what kind of performance they can give us here in the second half.
An excellent first half for Kyle Morris. On a reverse, Stacey Simmons turns the corner and is thrown down at the 24-yard line by nose guard Torrey Epps. Gain of 8 yards on the play, and Simmons, with that great speed, was able to get to the corner, but Memphis State was not really much fooled by that play, the misdirection action, and they recovered quite nicely. Let's check with Larry on the sideline.
David, a couple of injuries to report on at halftime for the Florida Gators. Michael Kerr, a shoulder injury, will not play in the second half. Neither will Dexter McNabb. Took a shot to the head. He's still a little bit woozy, so they're going to hold Dexter out the rest of the night as well.
2nd and 2. Smith, short side of the field, big hole, and Emmitt Smith runs it out to the 35-yard line. Hit head on by Steve Smith, the junior cornerback out of Texarkana, Arkansas.
And they're moving the chains. That's how you start your first series of the second half. The Gators come out picking up a first down in their first series, pitching the ball to the All-American Cedric Smith, the fullback, again throwing an excellent block for his tailback.
First down from the 36. Morris looks for Simmons. Off of his fingertips and incomplete. Steve Smith had something to do with that, I'm sure, as he came up quickly, and perhaps Stacy heard footsteps cutting over the middle of the field like that.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame Kyle Morris. He's right on the money again, and Stacy just reaches up, but the ball bounces off his fingertips, but it was delivered on the money by Kyle Morris, who continues to have an excellent ball game. He's delivering the ball to his receivers. They've got to come up with those catches.
2 new receivers in the game for Florida, Tony Lomack and Ernie Mills on 2nd and 10. That's the fullback, Cedric Smith. His first carry of the football game. And Cedric barrels out to about the 40-yard line. Tackle Lish Trice. Has to have one of the more interesting names in college football. Lish, L-I-S-H. Trice, T-R-I-C-E, number 55 for Memphis State. 3rd down and 6 from the 40. Morris threads the needle again, this time to fullback Cedric Smith. But he is going to be short of a first down. And in fact, the Gators will punt on 4th down and 6 as the pass was incomplete.
Cal taking a bit of a chance there, rolling out to his left, then throwing back to his right. There was a lot of linebackers around Cedric Smith, but the Gators came up with a reception, but forced a punt.
Strong rush put on by the Tigers.
Oh, ball!
Copeland fumbled it. And there is a mad scramble for the football. And it looks like on the bottom of the stack is David Schlarbaum, a backup linebacker for Memphis State out of Brandon, Florida. Played high school football with the Gators' Kirkpatrick. And let's take another look at the near disaster for Memphis State. There's Schlarbaum, and heads-up play by David as he jumped on that football.
Memphis State's going to have problems, down 2 touchdowns, and they're not a passing ball club. Their passing completion percentage just about 30% coming into this ball game.
Penalty flag as Odom gets the sack. Carlton Miles got there first. Chased him back into the middle of the playing field, and then Odom finished him off. Pryor was the ball carrier, and the penalty flag is going to go against the Tigers, I think.
Calling clipping.
Pryor, I'm sorry, Pryor is going to be the offender on the clip.
Tim Jones
was tackled.
And he was tackled savagely, too, by Gerald Odom. Looks like Tim Jones is limping around. You know, Rusty Trail, the second-team quarterback, has seen a lot of action this year, and last year's had some success. Is probably the better passer. Might see Rusty in the ball game if Tim Jones is, in fact, injured and can't move effectively.
The Gators had an interesting dilemma there to decline the penalty or take the yardage, and they've decided to take the penalty, so first down will be played over. The Markov takes it back to the 19-yard line.
Well, and I think they took the penalty because they know they have problems passing the ball. The Tigers do, and they wanted to make it even more difficult for them, David, by moving the ball back further into the Tigers' territory.
Hoping to get some field position. Now they put the total yardage package from the penalty on the play. They had marked it back just 10, now 15.
You know, the Tigers
back
1
to the
for 3. Excuse me, David. Tigers 1 for 3 passing in the first half, down 2 touchdowns. Just have a lot of problems throwing the ball this year.
First down and 25. Jones on the option. Marvin Cox scissored to the ground at the 19 as Tony McCoy and Kerry Watkins got there just about the same time.
Running the option to the weak side. Miles forcing the pitch. Look at Tony McCoy hustling over from his defensive tackle position to make the tackle near the sideline.
The play picked up about 6. Second down. Again, Jones options. Keeps the football and turns the corner out across the 35 is Tim Jones to the 37 or 8-yard line. Greg Grandison made the tackle, but Memphis State is only about 1 yard short of a first down.
Well, the Gators' scheme here on defense is to make the quarterback keep the ball. You know, they're going to take the tailback out of the play. See, Ephesians Bartley hits him, and he doesn't even have the ball. Tim Jones turns up, and he does have running ability and almost picks up the first down. It'll be third and, what do we call it, inches, I guess, maybe a foot.
From the Tiger 38. 2 tight ends, 1 wide out. And Cox, the tailback, has the first down as he fights out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. And Pat Moore, along with Carlton Miles, in on the stop. Ball spotted at the 42.
Memphis State continues to run the ball well. You know, they've got 167 yards total offense right now. The Gators were only giving up 157 in a whole ball game on the average coming into this encounter with the Tigers. So Memphis State still can run the football. And that's very unusual when you know they don't have a passing game to keep the defense off balance, but yet they can still run the ball with some effectiveness.
Not much on that play. Tony McCoy makes the tackle at the 45-yard line. It'll be second down and about 8. Early moments, third period. 10:24 left in the third. Florida leads Memphis State 24-10. Option left. Cox on the corner. Chased out of bounds on the far side of the field by Marquette Oliver, the strong safety, and Kerry Watkins, the cornerback.
Fee Bartley also doing an excellent job on that option right there. It's hard to run that option when you have such speed on defense. It's hard to get outside when those linebackers can run like the Gator linebackers can run.
Galen Hall trying to encourage his defense on 3rd down and 4. And there was appeared to be some confusion on the exchange between the center, Clark Stevenson, and the quarterback, Tim Jones.
And it's 4th down for the Tigers, and they're going to have to kick the ball away.
That was a play that never came off. Was smothered at the instant of the snap. So 4th down coming up, and Jeff Fite will punt the ball away from Memphis State with a wind at his back. Again, a twin setback for the Florida Gators on the punt return. And the left-footed kicker hangs it up high. Terrence Barber from the 16-yard line. Nice footwork, and out to the 22 or 23-yard line goes Terrence Barber. Bobby Abrams made the tackle.
Nifty cut by Barber right there, and they say he's probably the receiver that has the most excellent hands on the team, and they're putting him back there to return punts.
The next week, the Gators travel to Tampa to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, second SEC game of the year for Florida. That's September 30th, 6 p.m. at Tampa Stadium. Make plans now to attend the Pep Rally and Street Festival in Ybor Square in Tampa at 6 o'clock on Friday the 29th. Big festivities planned, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later on tonight. Emmitt Smith pushes it out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Rodney Lewis, the senior tackle out of Jacksonville, Rebound High, number 56 in the blue uniforms, made the stop for Memphis State. There are 24 players on this Memphis State football team who hail from the state of Florida. More from Florida than from Tennessee on this Memphis State football team.
It's unbelievable how many high school players from the state of Florida go on to play Division I football. Just an incredible number of talented kids in the state.
Fullback Cedric Smith ran into a big blue wall at the line of scrimmage, led by nose guard Torrey Epps, who was not moved at all by the Florida center.
Now, Cedric Smith can't believe this. He only gets to carry the ball 2 times all night, and he says, you know, you'd think he'd surprise some folks, but he's got about 4 Tigers waiting for him at the line of scrimmage in only his 2nd attempt of the evening. A fullback just not getting an opportunity to chalk up some yards in that Gator offense. The tailback is featured in Whitey Jordan's offense.
3rd down and 6. Another pinpoint dart thrown by Kyle Morris. Emmitt Smith has it, and the first down out near the 40-yard line before he is taken down by Scott Rumley.
A little bit of play action, and they get Cedric Smith, the fullback, to go out and do a little button hook, and then they drag Emmitt Smith across, and Cedric Smith, almost as in basketball, sets a pick for Emmitt. Both the backs just short of the linebackers, and Emmitt with that running ability. We mentioned the priority of getting the ball to Emmitt Smith, whether you got to dump it to him just beyond the line of scrimmage and let him run with it, or whether you pitch it to him as a tailback.
Emmitt Smith has caught a couple of passes so far in the game. Morris shoots it deep for Barber. Cannot get to it at the 30-yard line.
That's the first pass he's really been poorly thrown by the Gator quarterback all evening. Right there, Barber sprinting on the post route. Morris not able to hit him, but I think, to me, that's the first pass he's really missed all evening. And we'll take that halfway in the third quarter with as many times as he put the ball in the air.
Memphis State's gambling defense has given Kyle Morris an opportunity, much like last week, to make some big plays, and so far Kyle has capitalized against the Tiger defense. Second down and 10. Again sprinting to his left, and that's another poorly thrown ball over the head of intended receiver Ernie Mills. That'll bring up third down and 10 with 7 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third quarter. No scoring so far in the second half after 34 points scored by these two teams in the first half. And Morris here in the second half of the game is 0 for 3.
And as we mentioned at the beginning of this quarter, can the Gators come back and perform anywhere near to the capacity that they did in the first half on offense? And so far they haven't been able to get on track.
Third down and 10, and they give it to Emmett. And Emmett Smith will be 5 yards short of the first down. That will bring up a fourth down in a punting situation as the clock ticks down inside 7 minutes of the third quarter.
The punt for the University of Florida, number 19, Herbert Berry.
The deep man for Memphis State is their punter, Jeff Fike.
Well, that's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a backup receiver, but I didn't realize he returned punts.
He calls for the fair catch, and as we can see right there, he hold on.
Bracington Cadillac Oldsmobile's year-end closeout is a saving success. Right now, we have less than 50 new Oldsmobiles left. During our factory-authorized sale, 1989 Toronados come with a $2,500 incentive, $2,000 incentives on Sierra 4-door and Cutlass wagons, our most popular Oldsmobiles. Bracington is ready to clear out the lot and pass the savings on to you. Sale ends September 27th, so hurry to Bracington Cadillac Oldsmobile, 2001 Northwest 13th Street, Gainesville.
Sharing comes naturally to brothers. It's part of their family bond. That bond can save a life, and University of Florida physicians at Shands Hospital are proving it. Besides heart, bone, and cornea transplants, we perform kidney transplants for adults and children. A family member can donate a healthy kidney, which we transplant to the patient, and that means kids like these can return to what's really important, enjoying life. Consult your local physician or call Shands Hospital at 1-800-535-0373.
Memphis State is second down and 7 from their own 30-yard line. On the option, Jones. Marvin Cox is caught from behind by Ephesians Bartley and Mark Murray.
David, you keep talking about that speed of the Gator defense, and Mark Murray and Fee Bartley right here forcing the tailback to run laterally, won't let him run up and down the field. As you see, he's trying to outrun Fee Bartley. He says, hey, you can't outrun me. Fee Bartley runs, what, a 4.6 40 probably, 4.5, if not faster.
Tim Jones completed a pass on the first down of this drive, picked up 3 or 4 yards. They ran the ball on the option on second down. Now Jones under pressure, fires it over the middle. It is incomplete, intended for Bush. And there is the penalty flag, as Watkins may have gotten there a tad too soon. Or rather, Richard Fain, not Watkins.
That's a late flag coming out of center field right there. It looks like Fain did bump him at the moment of impact and quite possibly did interfere with him. Richard Fain, preseason All-American by Sporting News. This young man had a great year for the Gators last year, but right there, pass interference, and Tigers picking up a first down. Get a chance to look at the replay right here. Richard Fain will be on the right of your screen. Very close, but the Gators penalized nonetheless. Memphis State getting some help with this drive with that penalty, and the ball is just outside their 42-yard line, almost on the 43.
8th first down of the night for Memphis State. Jones wants to throw. Dumps it over the middle, and it is almost intercepted by Linebacker Pat Moore, who found himself right in the path of the Tim Jones pass.
Again, excellent pressure up front from the Gator defense. Brad Culpepper, Mark Murray. Culpepper finally making the hit on Jones, the quarterback, and Pat Moore knocks the ball away.
2nd and 10. That one is intercepted by Marquette Oliver. And the freshman from Pensacola looks for a block from his teammate Watkins. He got it. Oliver is tripped up at the 18-yard line. He ran that play like a tailback.
Well, when he got downfield, Fee Bartley had become a spectator, and Marquette Oliver is trying to direct Fee to throw a block for him. There's only one Tiger left. Tim Jones on the rollout. Pressure by Odom. Feign in coverage underneath is Marquette Oliver, the young freshman from Pensacola. Now he's going to get outside. He's going to pick up a block from Kerry Watkins here. Watkins does a nice job with a block, and now Fee Bartley is looking back instead of downfield. Marquette says, Fee, go the other way. Finally, the tackle made, just outside the 15 by number 75, Chuck Bowler.
And Bowler was shaken up and is being helped off the field, and now they're just getting him to the sideline. That's Oliver, his first interception as a Florida Gator, and I'm sure it's not going to be his last. A true freshman out of Pensacola, out of Pine Forest High School.
Andy Newman got hurt in the first ball game. Marquette Oliver comes up with an interception.
Emmitt Smith, touchdown, Emmitt Smith. His second of the night. And the All-American candidate has just given the Gators a 20-point lead with the extra point still to come.
Well, they're not having problems finishing off drives tonight, are they, David? Just a beautiful job by that Gator offensive line opening a gaping hole, and Emmitt Smith again bouncing off a couple of tackles with that great balance to score for the Gators.
John David Francis kicks it through, and it's 31-10 now. The Gators tack on 7 more in the third period.
The people of Gainesville Regional Utilities are working for you and demonstrate their public commitment every day. GRU provides free home energy surveys that will help you save energy and money. Through GRU's commercial lighting services, businesses are offered free lighting evaluation and consultation. And through Project Share, GRU provides a way for you to help community members in their time of need. GRU is your power to make a difference.
Introducing the new super value menu from Wendy's. Junior bacon cheeseburger tastes so fine. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. I ain't telling you no lie. Big in drink and big in fries. What you get is what you see. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. Hot dog and a cool frosty. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Look for these 5 big items for 99 cents each, and other great values on Wendy's new super value menu.
Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
This game was tied for a good part of the first half at 10-10, but the Gators have now pushed out to a 31-10 lead. Emmitt Smith, the 16-yard touchdown run. Emmitt now with 140 yards on the evening, 19 carries. So Emmitt is having himself a big night. Reginald Jones from inside the 10-yard line for Memphis State. Ball is slapped out of his hands by Kerry Watkins, but the Tigers will have it right around the 31-32 yard line. Emmitt Smith has passed Tony Green for number 2 in the all-time rushing yardage list in Florida football history. Now takes a dead eye on Neil Anderson's mark of just over 3,200 yards rushing. Emmitt needs about 600 yards to get there. Ball carrier tackled in the backfield.
Number 30.
Huey Richardson got there very quickly. Another look at Emmitt Smith's touchdown carry.
Cal Dixon throwing the block for Emmitt right there. Look at the balance again. Hit twice once around the 7, once around the 5, but he just doesn't go down. He just bounces sideways.
Tim Jones is tackled just about the same time that he got the snap and tried to hand it off. Number 31, Carlton Miles was, or 71 rather, Tony McCoy was back there so quickly that Jones had no chance whatsoever. Let's go to Larry Vitale on the sideline.
David, on that last touchdown run by Emmitt Smith, you may have seen a little taunting towards some of the fans here at Memphis State. They had been giving him a lot of Emmett Who because Memphis State controlled Emmitt Smith last year. That has not been the case tonight, as he has told them Emmett Who on the field in a very big way.
And as you may have seen, quarterback Rusty Trail was heating up on the sideline over Larry Vitale's right shoulder. There's another penalty flag on a pass play, and a pass interference is going to be called again against the Gators.
Greg Grandison in coverage there, number 27 for the Gators. Gerald Odom was dropping back from his linebacker position. Had the receiver well covered, but evidently there was some bumping going on.
Actually, Memphis State has 2 quarterbacks heating up in the bullpen, if you will. Rusty Trail, number 12, and sophomore Tommy Ferrari.
You know, it's not as cold when you're up 3.
Number 9 is also loosening up. And again, Tim Jones is more of a running option type quarterback, not known for his great passing skills. And with the Tigers down by 3 touchdowns late in the 3rd quarter, we most likely will see one of the other Memphis State quarterbacks before this game is over.
But again, you know, last year Tim Jones engineered a victory over the Gators. The Tigers also beat Mississippi State under his direction. He's a senior quarterback. He's just they just don't have the ability to throw the ball consistently, and when you're behind, it only compounds the problems for your offense.
Well, that time he ran smack into one of his linemen. Number 78, James Macklin, who also happens to be the focus of the NCAA controversy here at Memphis State. The problems that Charlie Bailey had, which led to his ouster here at Memphis State. Macklin, the right guard on the field, number 78. Jones fumbled the football. But the Tigers, Clark Stevenson, the center, fell on it.
A lot of pressure from the Gator defense, continuing to put pressure on the Tiger offense. Big Huey Richardson, who we were looking forward to seeing back on the field for the Gators. That's Brad Culpepper from his nose guard position. Huey Richardson was already back there. Ball bounces loose. Huey gets up and hustles over to almost come up with the recovered fumble. Tony McCoy, number 71. Brad Culpepper. Here comes Mark Murray. There's Huey Richardson with the sack.
Boy, you know, big number 90 is glad to be out there tonight. Missed the first 2 games because of suspension, and Richardson is back. The junior from Atlanta, Georgia, gets the quarterback sack, and it'll be 4th down for Memphis State.
And Mark Murray's glad to see him, too, because he knows that as he puts pressure on from one side, Big Huey's coming in from the other side, and they literally sandwich the quarterback, and they've got big, strong Brad Culpepper putting on pressure from the middle.
A defensive line that had 3 players drafted a year ago. All 3 of those guys are gone, but that Gator defensive front line is looking pretty good. There's a fumble, though, by Barber, and Memphis State has fallen on it at the 19-yard line. Terrence Barber fumbled the football, and Anthony Jones fell on it for the Tigers of Memphis State. And that swings the pendulum in the direction of the home team.
Well, we complimented Barber earlier, saying that of all the receivers, he probably had the best hands of the group. But he takes his eye off the ball here, and he's thinking about getting hit. Watch his head. Now watch his head right here. He's looking up. Doesn't pick the ball up. You just got to relax, get down on the football, lay down on the football. But he tried to pick it up, and it didn't work.
You go to the sideline after that, you keep your helmet on. You go to the sideline after scoring a touchdown, you get that helmet off. Everybody could see what you look like. No gain on the play by Pryor.
There's no high mums after that.
2nd down. Pryor got about a half a yard. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the 3rd period.
That Gator defense out there playing with a lot of pride right now. They do not want to let the Tigers in the end zone. They did not want to give them a score, even with this tremendous field position that the Tigers have.
Cox hit once in the backfield, hit again near the line of scrimmage, and just did get back to the original line of scrimmage. Pat Moore, the senior linebacker, was up quickly to make the tackle. And that'll bring up third down and about 10, again, from about the 19-yard line of Florida. Chuck Stobart looking for his first victory still here at Memphis State.
And again, this coach did not have the luxury of being with his team during spring practice, so these kids have really had to scramble this fall, understanding the program their coach wanted to install.
Jones is going for the end zone. A great defensive play by Godfrey Miles. He batted it away at the last moment.
What is Godfrey Miles doing running step for step with a receiver? Kerry Watkins is obviously very happy he's there. Ray Kraft, number 11, was in the corner. Godfrey Miles picks up the coverage right here. He's running step for step with a wideout.
You're talking about a guy who is 6'2" and 235 pounds.
At Gator defense, the speed of those men playing defense for the Gators is simply amazing. They just got tremendous team speed.
John Butler, the field goal attempt from about 35 yards out.
Here for the all-new Florida bookstore. All hail, fair sisters. How comes the new book department?
Double, double, toil and trouble. In with the new books, out with the rubble. By the pricking of my thumb. Oh, stand back, girls. Here it comes.
Now, where's the Shakespeare section? It's not here, or here. Trash.
When shall we three meet again?
Tuesday's good for me.
Wait a minute. I never wrote this. Florida Bookstore, a modern classic.
Here's a good reason why people trust their film processing to Harman Photos Are Nice. Quality. At Harman Photos Are Nice, my film is processed fast, and it never leaves town. They use state-of-the-art equipment, operated by trained professionals. They're careful with my film, and it shows. See how much better your photos can look. Bring your film to Harman Photos Are Nice, with 1-hour processing at all 4 locations.
On a cool and breezy autumn evening in Memphis, Tennessee, the Florida Gators now 31-13 leaders over the Memphis State Tigers after John Butler just kicked a 35-yard field goal. Memphis State given a gift on the fumbled punt. Gained no ground, but wound up with 3 points anyway. Tony Lomack has had himself a very busy night. Lomack scampers out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Penalty flag back on the other side of the field.
Flag on the play.
Again, we continue to have problems on the kickoffs. A lot of penalties tonight on the kickoff plays on both sides. There is no time left in the third period. But we wait and find out what the penalty flag is all about. The officials having a big league discussion out around the 25-yard line. And the penalty is going to go against the Gators for clipping. So that'll push the ball back. Not a lot of scoring here in this third period. Only the 1 touchdown by Florida. Actually, all 10 points scored here in the third quarter were direct results of mistakes by the opposite team. Florida capitalized on a pass interception, and Memphis State capitalized on a Florida Gator fumble. So the Gators have added 7 points here in the third period, while Memphis State has tacked on 3, and 31-13 is our score.
And that Gator offense is going to have the wind at their back. During the fourth quarter, the wind continues to blow left to right on your screen, and I'm going to update your weather report and say it's gone from cool and breezy to cold and breezy.
That's your thin blood, though. They're your Central Florida. And a guy that lived so many years in Detroit, Michigan, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Jim. 10 years in Detroit?
Yeah, but I left for a reason.
The quarter cannot end on a penalty, so the Gators will run this play to end the third period. First down from their own 13-yard line after the clip on the kick return. Lomack in the slide. He's in motion. All kinds of movement. And the third quarter still will not end. Left side of the line jump. Looks like more than one player.
The whole left side of the line of scrimmage, yeah. Brad Hatcher, number 76.
And then several others played follow the leader.
Gator offense does not want to get sloppy here. They in the fourth quarter, as we begin the fourth quarter momentarily, they want to maintain that consistency. They've had a very effective offensive performance this evening. They need to keep it up.
And they try again from the 9. Morris, short drop, guns it out in the flat for Ernie Mills. Mills trying to find an open crease somewhere, and he was not too far, folks, from breaking one very big as he was.
Do you know where that water has been? The chemicals, minerals, additives, and who knows what your tap water contains? If you did, it might be hard to swallow. That's why Rainsoft's home water treatment system purifies water right at the tap, so you can drink healthfully ever after.
For a free water test, call Walt Fountain today. We remove hardness, iron, sulfur, chlorine, and any contamination, and Rainsoft has a lifetime guarantee.
A lot of mowers these days just stop dead in their tracks. So if your old mower can't cut it anymore, use it to cut the cost of a new snapper. Because right now, we'll give you from $75 to $500 for any old mower when you buy one of these new snappers. See your snapper dealer during All-American Trading Days and get a great deal on one mower designed to last. See the yellow pages under lawnmowers for the snapper dealer nearest you.
Florida Gators on the attack as we begin the fourth period from Memphis, Tennessee. David Steele and Jim Yarborough glad to be with you tonight on Sports Channel with tonight's Florida Gator game against Memphis State. A little bit nippy up here in our Quonset hut on top of the press box. We're having a good time and hope you're enjoying it as well. Kyle Morris gives the ball to tailback Emmett Smith, and Smith bounces out across the 15 to about the 17. Carlos Hollowell, the linebacker, and Jeff Harris, number 50, the sophomore out of Winter Park for Memphis State, out of Lake Howell High School. We're in on the tackle. Talking about Kyle Morris, as we look at Emmett Smith stats, first of all, 144 yards on 20 carries. Now, those are Heisman Trophy candidate type numbers, Jim Yarborough.
Well, he needs that kind of production if he's going to get any recognition for the Heisman Trophy. You got to have those superlative numbers week after week if you're going to get the national press's attention.
Well, the tight end, Kirkpatrick, was wide open, and Morris found him breaking over the middle at the 35, and it is a Florida first down out to the 37-yard line.
Kirkpatrick, who caught 5 or 6 passes against Ole Miss and came up with some excellent receptions last week as well. Showing again he has the excellent hands as he slips behind the linebackers, and I believe it was number 10, Steve Smith, the defensive back. Good coverage, but Big Kirk had position on the football.
Kyle Morris having himself a big night. And the sophomore wants to throw again. What a throw into the arms of tight end Harvey Thomas up around the 50-yard line. That was a beautifully thrown pass. Well covered was Thomas by Glenn Rogers Jr., but Morris threaded it right in there.
Harvey Thomas, dragging from the top of your screen to your bottom, is running. Then he decides just to stick his arms out the last minute. Boom, there's the football. You know, that couldn't have been thrown any better.
And you wonder how much it is, what a factor it is for Morris to be on the road for the first time and get away from home a little bit, relax a little bit more maybe, and he is showing such confidence in this game. He's been under a lot of pressure at Florida Field. The fans had high expectations of him. They're going deep this time for Ernie Mills with that great speed, but Ernie can't catch up to the football. He was bumped by Reginald Jones, and there's a penalty flag thrown.
Reginald Jones
against the offense or the defense?
I don't know. I didn't see anything there. Reginald Jones was in excellent coverage, step for step, with the Gator receiver Kyle Morris trying to sneak the bomb in on the Tigers. I don't know where that call came from, David.
They're going to call it on Florida. Pass interference on the offensive player. I'm not sure about that one. Looked like some incidental bumping downfield, but
well, that remains a mystery.
Morris is now 15 out of 24 for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight. No interceptions. And sometimes a player can relax, getting away from his home situation, and I think Morris has really settled down tonight and had himself a great game. The penalty marks it back to the 36-yard line where it is 2nd down and long. Emmett Smith running short side of the field is chased away by Torrey Epps.
We've not mentioned Epps that much during the ball game. Torrey Epps comes into this ball game with All-American credentials at the nose guard position, but I think that shows you the effective play of the Gator offensive line, keeping Epps under control throughout most of this ball game. He's as good as they get at the nose guard, middle guard position. Big number 66, and you see Cal Dixon come up and line up nose to nose with him.
Memphis State has been hampered tonight. They've not had Eddie Moore back there at free safety. Morris fumbled that snap, but gets the exchange to Emmett Smith, and Emmett Smith finds the corner into Memphis State territory, and the ball was fumbled, but I think the Gators got it right in front of the Florida bench.
Well, still, I think the most incredible thing about that play is how does he pick up that last 5 or 6 yards? Kyle Morris bobbles the snap, gets the ball to his All-American tailback. Now watch him get down the sideline right here, and you think, okay, this is a nice run. Now he's going to get tackled. But no, he's not. Watch. He does a 360 and bounces forward for another 5 yards. Unbelievable.
He did not fumble the football. I thought that was the ball, but it was the ball. It was attached to Emmett Smith's arms.
Yeah, they were just cheering the effort over there. It was almost like the crowd roared because there was a fumble, but they couldn't believe the effort that he made.
Another flag down. Willie McClendon was the ball carrier that time.
You know, that was truly amazing. He did a 360 while 4 or 5 guys were hitting him, picked up another 6 yards. But on the next play, what happens? The Gators clip, and now we're going to go backwards for a bit.
Clock is stopped with 12:21 left in the game. Florida 31, Memphis State 13. And the 15-yard penalty will step it back to the midfield stripe. Next week, the Gators in Tampa to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. 170 yards tonight for the great one from Pensacola.
Well, you know, a couple of things have to happen relative to Heisman Trophy opportunities. He has to have on a winning ball club, and he has to get some big numbers, like a 200-yard rushing evening, and he's on his way toward that right now.
Play action fake. Morris scrambling out of the pocket. He's got McClendon open, but underthrew him, and the pass was intercepted by Anthony Collins.
Willie McClendon was wide open. Kyle Morris had bought himself some time by moving out of the pocket. Thought he could drop the ball into Willie McClendon, but Eddie Moore, Anthony Collins, number 14, comes up with the interception. Eddie Moore had 2 interceptions last year for the Tigers.
And Moore has not played back there tonight, I don't think, even one snap.
Ankle injury, I think.
He hurt his ankle last week against Alabama.
But Anthony Collins, in his stead, playing for Eddie Moore, comes up with an interception. Ball underthrown by Kyle Morris.
That's Kyle's first interception thrown in this game, his third of the season. Marvin Cox slipped away from Gerald Odom and hammers out about 5 out near the 40-yard line. Memphis State has gone with its backup quarterback. You see calling the signals there, number 12, Rusty Trail, a 6'1 junior out of Forest City, Arkansas, who has started off and on through his career at Memphis State.
Winning 3 games in a row at the end of last season. Rusty Trail came in and led the Tigers to 3 straight victories.
Pass is caught by Gary Bolden, freshman receiver out of Crossville, Alabama. And the play comes out to the 42-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and 2.
Tigers were really undecided which quarterback they might go with in this season, but Tim Jones won the job. Rusty Trail sees some action, and they've got a young fellow named Tommy Ferrari, who the fans would like to see some action as well.
3rd down and 2. Sprint draw to Cox, and Cox will have, I think, the first down out near the 44-yard line. Talking about Trail, he had one game last year against Southern Mississippi where he completed 22 out of 41 passes for 355 yards. A couple of touchdowns. So he is a capable quarterback. Official timeout. They are going to measure for the first down. The clock stopped. 10:27 left in the game. They're about a half-inch short.
4th down?
4th down, and they're going to go for it. Really not a lot to lose here. They're trailing 31-13 with time running out on them, and if they don't get some points very quickly, then they have absolutely no chance at all to come back. 2 tight ends. Running backs Pryor and Cox. Gators have 7 stacked up around the line of scrimmage. The quarterback keeps and appears to have the first down for Memphis State out around the 45-yard line. Unofficially number 11 on the evening for Memphis State in first downs.
Well, even though the Gators have a big edge on the scoreboard right now, 31-13, Memphis State has been the best offense, or at least they've gotten the most production out of their offense that any team has. It's faced the Gators so far early in this 1989 season. Ole Miss didn't have this kind of success moving the football.
Nice throw by Trail. Nice catch by Bolden, who makes the catch out across the 50 and down to the 48-yard line of Florida. Take another look at the play and the catch by Bolden, who also plays some quarterback at Memphis State.
Well, some of those impressive stats that the Gator defense was able to build up in the first 2 games might not look so impressive after tonight's ball game, but it really doesn't matter. It's the score that matters. The Gators clearly have a big lead right now, and they're willing to give up some short passes and let Memphis State run the ball game, let that clock work to their favor, as we see Big Tim Polk, number 99, the young fella that makes so many things, exciting things happen on the field. What, 2 punts blocked last year, 3 punts blocked. Interceptions. This kid can play football, but he'll have a problem moving Gerald Odom out of that starting lineup, and that's the problem Gator defense loves to have with kids of that quality on the field.
Trail is throwing deep, and he overthrows his intended receiver, John Bush, down the far sideline. So now Richardson is on the field. Richardson has played a lot this evening. Polk, unless I missed it earlier, is out there for the first time in the ball game. I think Odom has played just about the entire game. Memphis State will have to punt on 4th down and 4. Of course, about this position on the field earlier, they faked the punt, got a big first down. This time the snap goes all the way through, and Jeff Feit kicks it into the wind. Gets a nice Memphis State roll and is going to be down inside the 5-yard line at about the 3. That's a great kick by Jeff Veit as he pins the Florida Gators inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line.
Gator offense misfiring a bit here late in the ball game, having such great success in the first half, some success in the third quarter, but they haven't been able to generate too much on offense in this second half, with only 1 touchdown since the halftime break.
Power I backfield. Emmitt Smith, the deep back. And the handoff goes to Emmitt Smith. He high hurdles over one man out across the 5 to about the 7-yard line. Bobby Avery makes the tackle for Memphis State. Position of the football on the field, Jim, reminds me of where the Gators were last year against Mississippi State when Emmitt went 94 yards. The ball was right there on that left hash mark and just about that same spot.
And what was his comment on that run? That was a long way to run. Is that what he said?
Said he had to go from one end of the field to the other.
And we said, we don't care, just run that way all the time.
Morris standing deep in the pocket looking, and they're going to drive him backwards. But the progress is stopped up around the 2-yard line before Lish Trice got there to make the tackle. Avery again was there to help out.
Kyle had plenty of time initially right there. Actually, he was standing there like a statue. He was frozen in time. I thought I was in the twilight zone.
I looked upfield and thought maybe he'd given it off to the fullback. But he had kept it. That's 3rd down and 10, back around the 3.
He was taking a long look there.
Again from the power I. Darryl Perry in motion, pitch it left side to Emmitt Smith. No running room, but look at him bounce off the tacklers out to around the 10-yard line. He didn't get a first down, but that's about as nice of a 7-yard run as you'll ever see.
After you said there's no running room, he picked up 6 yards. You know, just unbelievable.
Herbert Perry to punt the ball from his own end zone with the wind at his back for a change. Jeff Veit is the deep man for the Tigers. And Perry hits it low. Veit fields it at the 45-yard line. Does not have the speed to...
I'm Tom Farkash of Fine Farkash and Parla Piano. If you've been injured in an automobile accident, your own insurance company is required by Florida no-fault law to pay for 80% of your medical bills and 60% of your lost wages, up to $10,000, regardless of who is at fault. If the other person is at fault, you may also be able to make a recovery from their company. You owe it to yourself to discuss your case with a professional. Call Fine Farkash and Parla Piano for a free consultation.
Call Fine Farkash and Parla Piano for professional legal help.
When life is on the line, the North Florida Regional Emergency Center is ready. Not every emergency is life or death, but that's what we're prepared for. In fact, all our personnel are 100% certified in advanced cardiac life support. That's commitment. The job is tough, but we love the work. North Florida Regional Emergency Center.
There are 3 running backs.
Tigers football at their own 46. After a 5-yard penalty, it's 1st and 15. The ball is caught by the tight end, Ricky Wyndham. That's the first catch of the night by a Tiger tight end. Wyndham hauls it in for a gain of a couple of yards.
Wyndham, also a returning veteran, was on the team last year. The team that came down to Gainesville and surprised the Gators with a big win. First meeting in the history of these two teams, and Memphis State won it in Gainesville last year.
Another factor last year was the presence of Cox's stop behind the line back at the 40. The presence of Florida people on that Memphis State coaching staff. Charlie Bailey had been the defensive coordinator for the Gators. The head coach for Memphis State, Dan Coughlin, was on his staff. And I think that team, with the combination of that and the number of Florida players, and they were a good team on top of that. They were 6-5 and won some big games last year. It was just a prime upset situation for Memphis State over Florida. Unfortunately for the Gators, they also suffered some key injuries in that game, which affected the team on down the road. Trail throws it right into the arms of Tim Paulk.
Oh, you're kidding me.
And look at him go. Touchdown, Tim Paulk.
He's going to go back and tell the coach, see, I can do this all the time. But the guy that makes the play is Mark Murray. Mark Murray has the quarterback wrapped up. Mark Murray causes Rusty Trail to throw the ball poorly, and Tim Paulk is standing right there and is the star of the play.
And after he caught it, he said happy trails to Rusty Trail and took it all the way in for the touchdown. 37-13. That's Paulk's second interception career-wise. He got one last year as a freshman. 50 yards on the return for the touchdown. Francis's extra point is good. And the Gators stretch the lead to 38-13 with 4:54 left to play. Back in just a moment.
So what do you think?
It looks like gold.
But how do we know for sure?
Well, the only way you can know for sure is to scratch it.
Play Gold Rush, the instant game that's 24-karat excitement. You could win $1 million in cash.
Quick. Cash.
What has Florida so excited?
Quick. Cash.
Quick Cash, the instant game with lots and lots of winners.
Quick. Cash.
Introducing the new super value menu from Wendy's. Junior bacon cheeseburger tastes so fine. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. I ain't telling you no lies. Big in drink and big in fries. What you get is what you see. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99. Hot dog and a cool frosty. Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Look for these 5 big items for 99 cents each, and other great values on Wendy's new super value menu.
Wendy's got 5 for $9.99.
Tim Paulk, the sophomore linebacker out of Miami, just added a touchdown for the Florida Gators, a 50-yard return on the pass interception. I was trying to remember the last time a Gator intercepted a pass and took it for a touchdown. Didn't Mark Murray do that last year against Indiana State?
Yes, he did.
Reginald Jones bounced out of bounds and bounced hard out of bounds at the 27 or 8 yard line by Kerry Watkins.
And Richard Fain did as well against LSU.
That's right. That was after Mark Murray, so it happened twice last year.
Watch Mark Murray. Mark Murray is going to hit the quarterback right there. The ball floats right out to Tim Paulk, who says, I'll take it. And Big Brad Culpepper leads interference, throws a key block right there, allowing Paulk to get the touchdown. Now Tim Paulk is tied with Tony Lomack for touchdown passes in a career.
No? Yeah, you're right.
No, wait a minute.
Lomack got another one tonight.
So Tony's ahead. I couldn't believe last week that was the first touchdown pass that Tony Lomack had caught in his career.
Gerald White, the ball carrier, you know, that reminded me of Gary Roll, who played 4 seasons for the Gators and made some big plays throughout his career, and even spent some time with the Denver Broncos, who never caught a touchdown pass at Florida, which you were surprised to hear that as well.
And he did have an excellent career at Florida. He was a very effective receiver during his 4 years there, but hard to believe some of these kids never get in the end zone.
Clark Stevenson is limping off the field for Memphis State. One of only 2 experienced offensive linemen in this Tiger offensive front wall. Number 16 at the bottom of your screen, or just outside of it, Van Drayton is a new wide receiver. He's a Jacksonville product.
One of those Floridians we talked about on the roster.
The pitch to Gerald White. White looking for the corner and is slammed down. Carlton Miles is there at about the 31-yard line. Mark Murray also in the vicinity, and Monty Groh, the freshman free safety, was there to make the stop. Let's go down on the field to Larry Vittel.
David, a lot of people wondered what the Gator defense would be like with Huey Richardson and Tim Paulk back. After all, Florida was third in the nation in total defense coming into this ball game. But what we've seen is the big play has come back. Huey Richardson has been an impressive performer. They've had to block him with a tackle, and that has freed up some other guys. And the quickness of Tim Paulk on that interception return, a big plus for the Florida Gator defense to have those guys back on the field.
Van Drayton just makes the catch. Monty Grove is there to make the stop, but that's good for a Memphis State first down.
Monty Grove with excellent size too, David. 6'3", and that's a great height for a secondary performer. A big advantage to have that height back there. A true freshman, Monty Grove from Inverness.
Bill Gunner's on the field. At defensive tackle, handoff to White. White gets a couple out to the 42-yard line. Rather, John Norman, the fullback. Only 2:55, clock running. Florida's got this one in the bag. It'll be victory number 2, and they'll set their sights on SEC opponent Mississippi State next weekend and hope to get their first conference victory of the season. A week from tonight in Tampa Stadium. That should be a good one.
Mississippi State took a pounding today in Athens.
It was 10-6 at the half, though, Jim. And Georgia pulled away and won 23-6 in the second half of the game. Pass caught by, rather intended for, Copeland. Freshman receiver out of Tupelo, Mississippi. That'll bring up a third down play for Memphis State. 2:23 left in the game.
Should be a big crowd in Tampa next Saturday. The Gators playing so well here on the road in Memphis and coming back to a Southeastern Conference battle, having a chance, as you mentioned, to get in the win column in the Southeastern Conference after that disappointing opening loss to Ole Miss.
Trail play action pass over the middle, incomplete at the 40-yard line. Trying to hit his tight end, but Monty Grove was there to break it up. Not a lot of fans left here in this stadium. Most of them that are still here are wearing orange and blue. Florida brought a couple of 2,000 or 3,000 fans. Probably 20,000 people across the way here at the Mid-South Fair. You got the tents up and the Ferris wheel, the double Ferris wheel, and all the rides over there, and they're drawing a lot of folks next door. Made for an interesting traffic situation getting in here tonight, didn't it, Jim?
Yeah, we got lost in the barn over there with the cows and the chickens.
White's kick is coming up short and rolls out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game. And it'll be interesting to see if Kyle Morris comes back or if Galen Hall comes with the freshman quarterback. And I think he has, Donald Douglas.
Yeah, we thought Donald would see more action this evening. You got to have your backup quarterback ready to play in case of emergency, and Donald Douglas will see a little action here this evening.
Willie McClendon bounces out of around the 40-yard line. Clendon picks up about 8 yards. Here's a penalty flag thrown back in the Gator offensive line, and they've got the Gators for holding on this one. Clock is stopped with exactly 2 minutes left in the game. Well, when the Gators really pulled away was the second quarter after Memphis State tied it up on the Butler field goal at 10-10, and Florida's passing game came to life really for the first time that we've seen it since very early last year, Jim. The pinpoint passing, the great protection, and I don't think we perhaps gave enough credit to the offensive line for giving Morris all the time he needed to find his receivers. And Kyle was doing more than just his primary receivers. He was finding his second and third men. McClendon on the pitch. Breaks it out across the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. Anthony Jones is there to make the stop with 1:29 left in the game.
Now, David, as you talked about the passing game, where the Gators did come up with the big bombs last week against Louisiana Tech, it was the big play capacity that they showed, but we weren't sure if that was a something that they'd be able to put in the repertoire every Saturday afternoon. But not only did he come back with the big plays tonight, Kyle Morris, but he did throw effectively the short pass and the middle range pass and the possession pass.
The total passing game.
Absolutely.
Not just the big play. Ball is fumbled and scooped up by a Memphis State player. And that's the second time that McClellan has fumbled tonight. Chris Hobbs picked it up and wanted to run it into the end zone. And of course, the ball is dead in college football, so the Tigers take possession at the 35-yard line. Finishing up the stats on Kyle Morris, there are only 56 seconds left in the game. And the Gators now will just try and keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone. A lot of young players on that line, as you saw Michael Brandon and Dexter Smith. Rusty Trail back to throw. He's got his man wide open. The ball is dropped. Intended for John Bush, and he could not hold on. Boy, Trail with his hands on his hips, you see him there, is saying to himself, what more have I got to do?
And dropped was the operative word right there, too, because it was delivered perfectly in between two Gator defenders. Number 29 over there for the Gators, Sam Scavella from Miami, Florida, the freshman, seen some action.
There's the draw play. And to the 21-yard line goes Charles Mullen, or rather Gerald White. 37 seconds left. And the ball spotted at the 21-yard line. 38-13 our score. Florida, after leading 24-10 at the end of the first half, has settled into a comfortable margin over the Memphis State Tigers. Time running out. John Norman makes the catch at the 15, and Norman drives it inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Clock is stopped now while they move the chains. But Florida's going to come back with its front line.
Tired of going to the parts store only to find out that the part you need has to be ordered? Well, it's time to think of Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts. Our huge inventory of carefully selected low-mileage car and truck parts is the largest in this part of the world, and it's as close as your telephone, and every part is fully guaranteed. Air conditioning, alternators, wheels, bumpers, tailgates, even rebuildable cars and trucks, always think Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts first. With our low prices, you'll never buy new parts again. From BMWs to Volkswagens, Escorts to Continentals, call Damron's Pre-Owned Auto Parts anywhere in Florida.
When life is on the line, the North Florida Regional Emergency Center is ready. Not every emergency is life or death, but that's what we're prepared for. In fact, all our personnel are 100% certified in advanced cardiac life support. That's commitment. The job is tough, but we love the work. North Florida Regional Emergency Center.
All right, the final 17 seconds of this football game. Memphis State valiantly trying to put it in the end zone at the Gator 9-yard line. Florida trying to keep them out of there. Trail is blindsided, and down he goes at the 15-yard line as big Huey Richardson was there again.
Well, we started the night talking about him, and we're going to end the night talking about him. The Gators come back with their first-team defense because Memphis State was having so much success against the Gator substitutes. A lot of those guys were third-teamers on the field, and the coaches made a mass substitution, and out comes Huey Richardson and immediately comes up with a sack. Just a tremendous advantage for the Gator defense to have a guy like Huey Richardson and Mark Murray on the opposite ends of the line of scrimmage, attacking the quarterback as he drops back to pass. That's going to be a big bonus for the Gators all year long, that ability to rush the quarterback.
And Rusty Trail is thinking once again, why didn't John Bush make that catch down there in the end zone to save me a little physical pain there after getting wrapped up by Huey Richardson.
8 seconds to go in this ball game's history. Big road win for the Gators, even though the Tigers are 0-3 coming into this ball game.
Memphis State, by the way, has next week off before playing Vanderbilt in their homecoming game. Memphis State plays 5 SEC teams again this year. Second and goal. Pass intercepted. Pat Moore got this one. And Moore trying to get as much yardage as he possibly can, but that'll run out the clock. And the Gators have sealed the 38-13 win over Memphis State. A very impressive victory, particularly on the offensive side for the Florida Gators tonight on the road in Memphis, Tennessee. Galen Hall accepting congratulations from the Memphis State coaching staff. And he's just witnessed his football team's effort tonight on the road. A 38-13 victory over the Memphis State Tigers to take his team to 2-1 for the season. We'll be back with some final comments in just one moment.
Wouldn't you and your family love to own a vacation home where you're free to fish, swim, or ski all year round? Well, now you can. Interlochen Lakes Estates offers mobile and conventional home sites starting at just $19.95. Put 5% down and pay $30 per month plus annual property tax. Call 1-800-523-0683 for more information. Now is the time to purchase your own spot under the world-famous Florida sun.
Well, I'll tell you something that won't make you laugh, but it will excite your taste buds.
Yeah, what's that?
Improvement items from the biggest, best brand names to a quality line of house brands. So when you're shopping for items for the home and yard, there's only one name you'll need to know. Scotty's, the first name in home improvement.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Florida Football Highlights with Galen Hall. I'm Mick Hubert, following the Gators' 38-13 victory against the Memphis State Tigers. Congratulations, Galen. I know this has to be a big football win for your team to come on the road and to avenge the loss last year and play a night game. And a lot of adversity going in, but you got to be happy.
There really was, Mick, and I'm very happy about it. We're such a young football team. I think we brought 11 seniors on this trip. We had, you know, the travel plans, being in a hotel all day today to lay around, really, and I was very happy with the way we came out and played. We came out and played pretty well.
And as you can see, it's quite windy in Memphis, and that was another factor, cold and windy, too.
It was chilly. The wind was more of a factor than the temperature. We were worried about that with, you know, the field position and the kicking game. We were concerned about that.
You had some big individual performances. Kyle Morris was awfully good in this game, so was Emmett Smith, and the defense responded.
They played well. Kyle is improving every week, and he played well today. He recognized his blitzes. We ran some choice patterns or option patterns. He played well there. Emmett had his best game so far, and I think you're going to see nothing but Emmett's going to get better. Defense has played steady, gave up one big play tonight, and I'm sure we'll correct that.
So the Gators win it 38-13, and let's take a look at the first half highlights. A Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium crowd of 25,000 looked on as the Gators' John David Francis kicked off to Memphis State's Reggie Jones. Jones returned the kickoff across the 20 and up to the 23-yard line. On the second play from scrimmage, Tiger quarterback Tim Jones gives to Marvin Cox, who was dropped for a loss of 2 by Gerald Odom and Brad Culpepper. After a Memphis State punt, Emmett Smith gets the call on first down, and Emmett scampers up the middle, shedding tacklers on the way, good for a gain of 22 yards. Four plays later, on 4th and 1, Smith again gets the call and moves right for a gain of 12 yards on a Gator first down. On the very next play, Willie McClendon carries left but fumbles, and Memphis State recovers at its own 20-yard line. After a 4-yard loss, Cox gets the ball, and he picks up 8 yards. Then the Memphis State quarterback, Jones, tries to find fullback Wayne Pryor, but the pass falls incomplete. After a Jeff Veit punt, Gator quarterback Kyle Morris hits Emmett Smith for a gain of 11 yards and a Florida first down. 2 plays later, Morris connects with sophomore Dexter McNabb over the middle for a 9-yard gain. On the next play, Morris looking for Terrence Barber, who makes the catch, but Barber then coughs up the football, and Memphis State recovers. But a Memphis State penalty gives the ball back to the Gators. On 1st and 10, Alonzo Sullivan makes a diving catch of a Morris pass, good for a gain of 13 yards. 4 plays later, John David Francis gives Florida an early advantage with a 30-yard field goal. After the Francis kickoff, Pryor carrying 18 yards for a Tiger first down. Then Memphis State, Marvin Cox takes the pitch from Tim Jones, moves right, cuts back, and he's gone. 67 yards for a touchdown, giving Memphis State a 7-3 lead. On the ensuing kickoff, John Butler boots one to Tony Lomack. Lomack coming up and making the grab and running the football up the middle of the field, cutting to the near sideline into the open. A terrific run from Lomack, cutting back inside the 30-yard line. But the Gators were offsides on the kickoff, and it wiped out the long run. With Florida having the ball on the 50, Emmitt Smith carries on first down, shaking tacklers along the way. Emmitt would bust one for his longest run of the night, some 40 yards. The junior from Pensacola, whose 182-yard effort against Memphis State was his 3rd best effort as a Gator, has a running style second to none. Moments later, Emmitt Smith gets the call and scores his 26th career touchdown. The Gators led 10-7. Then to begin the second quarter, Memphis State facing a 4th and 1 in Gator territory, and they execute a fake punt. At the Florida 28-yard line, 3 plays later, Jones is sacked by junior Huey Richardson, which set up a Memphis State field goal. John Butler from 47 yards out tied the game at 10-10. After the kickoff, Morris dropping back to pass, looking for tight end Harvey Thomas over the middle, a gain of 17 yards. On first down, following an exchange of punts, Morris looking for Ernie Mills, a quick out and a 5-yard gain on 2nd and 6. On the next play, Morris again looking to pass and finding Terrence Barber, who makes the catch and a 13-yard pickup. 3 plays later, Emmitt Smith moving right picks up another first down with this 6-yard gain. This sets up a Kyle Morris pass to Stacy Simmons, who streaks over the middle and dances 48 yards for the touchdown.
It was a call from the press box. We were getting consistent coverage out of our twin set. And, you know, we felt we could beat him. We felt Stacy could get open underneath, and all we had to do was hit him with it, and he could outrun the coverage. And I thought I let him a little bit too much when I first let go of it, but, you know, his speed caught up with it, and he broke one tackle, and they couldn't catch him.
With the Gators leading 17-10, Tim Jones is sacked by Pat Moore for a loss of 8 yards.
We really wasn't worried about coming into this game. You know, we just got Huey and Tim Polk back, and that made our defense pretty complete there. Going to this game, we really thinking about last year, what Memphis did to us, how they came down and embarrassed us. We came back to take back what belonged to us. We tried not to give them anything cheap. They came up with a couple of big plays early, and, you know, that's the thing that Memphis live off of. So we wanted to shut that down and continue on what we did.
2 plays later, Jones hits flanker Ray Kraft for 18 yards and a Memphis State first down. Then 3 plays later, tailback Gerald White coughs up the ball, and the Gators' Mark Murray recovers. On 2nd down, Morris scrambling out of the pocket for an 8-yard gain. After a pass incompletion, Morris rolling right, finding Stacy Simmons. Simmons down to the 16-yard line. 2 plays later, Tony Lomack takes a Morris pass and barges into the end zone for a 13-yard touchdown.
Here's a key play right near the end of the half. We covered a fumble drive in less than a minute. What we're doing here is sprinting with Cal Morris and giving Lomack an option route. Tony runs the flag, Cal hits him, and this gave us a lift going into the halftime and put us up 24-10.
After the ensuing kickoff, Marvin Cox runs on second down for 13 yards. The half runs out, giving the Gators a 24-10 lead. Coming up, this week's edition of Gator Tips, techniques to develop these athletes. Florida defensive line coach Rex Norris has coached in both the pro and college ranks, and he has seen the changes for defensive linemen firsthand.
We've lined up in the basic front, and on occasion we'd stunt. You know, we usually gave it away because our guys would be smiling. They get to stun a little bit. But now it's all movement defense, adjustment defense, and upfield defense. We're really trying to get a lot of movement out of our defense.
It is important for high school defensive linemen to have both strength and quickness. But, according to Coach Norris, good hand techniques are essential.
Well, the high school players that I've got in the last 5 or 6 years have been better coached and everything, but still the need to work on the use of hands has to be emphasized on that level. I've coached on all levels, so I know how difficult it is. But when you start learning to use the hands, your technique against any blocking scheme will be better, and your pass rush will be better. Here's what we're going to do. All I want to do is get good leverage. I'm going to press him here. You feel the weight on his heels. You take your step right here, grab cloth, and rip through and get upfield on the quarterback. Okay? All this is an arm under rip drill. Right. All right, go down. Fast rip. Good. There you go.
Starting middle guard Brad Culpepper agrees that developing good technique is the key to making the transition from high school to college football.
Well, out of high school, you really don't use any technique. It's basically wading through the smaller offensive linemen and making tackles. There's a lot more to it. In college, you've got to use your hands and your feet. Primarily, you really don't have as much body contact until you make the tackle. So mainly, it's all hands and feet.
On this drill right here, you use a lot of arm under. You have to nowadays, the way the offense is using their hands. I want you good separation right here. Take your step, lower your shoulder, underneath your shoulder pad. If it clamps down on you now, Tony, if it clamps down on your rip right here, you just got to dead arm it and come out of it. Just a reverse rip. The rip will usually work for you. You got someone using their hand real well, reverse. Down. There you go, good.
Florida has had a number of great defensive linemen over the years. Tim Newton, David Galloway, Trace Armstrong, and of course, perennial Pro Bowler Jack Youngblood. And with the help of Rex Norris and his coaching staff, the Gators figure to have several more. That wraps up this week's edition of Gator Tips, but join us next week when we'll tackle the quarterback position.
So the Gators had to rally from a 7-3 deficit and broke a 10-10 tie and lead 24-10 at the half.
Mick, we knew it would be a very tight ball game. Very happy the way we came back with those two big plays, especially going into the wind to give us the lead. And we went into halftime, our offensive coaches got together, and we thought we were doing the right things offensively. Our defensive team thought if they didn't give up the big play, that they were playing very soundly. So we just told them to keep confidence in what we were doing and come out for the second half.
So with the Gators leading 24-10, let's pick up the third quarter highlights. The Gators against Memphis State.
To start the third quarter, John Butler kicks off to Florida's Tony Lomack. Lomack makes the catch at the 5, fumbles the football, then recovers, and promptly returns 13 yards before being met by a host of Tiger players. On 2nd and 2 from the 25, Emmett Smith goes right and follows a great block by Cedric Smith for 11 yards. But the Florida drive stalls, and the Tigers take over their own 29. On 1st and 10, Tim Jones chased out of the pocket by Marquette Oliver and then dropped for a loss of 4 by Gerald Odom. On the next play, Tim Jones running the option right, pitching to Marvin Cox, who picks up 6. Then on 2nd and 19, Jones going left, keeping the ball, using his speed to pick up 18 yards. But the Tiger drive stalls and the Gators take over. On 3rd and 6, Morris takes a deep drop and hits Smith cutting underneath for a gain of 13 yards. After a couple of incompletions, Florida is forced to punt. On their own 43-yard line, the Tigers' Tim Jones dropping to pass, but pressure from Odom and company forces an errant throw that is batted down by Pat Moore. On the next play, Jones rolling right, looking to throw, but his pass picked off by Marquette Oliver. And the freshman from Pensacola shows Gator fans he knows what to do with the ball, scampering all the way to the 16-yard line. That sets up Florida's next touchdown, the second of the game from Emmitt Smith, giving the Gators a 31-10 lead.
The play was a 29 crack, and I saw a seam up inside, and I turned it up, and I got hit a couple times. I bounced off a couple defenders, and before I knew it, I was in the end zone.
This game marked the return of junior outside linebacker Huey Richardson, who made a key sack on Tim Jones.
Here's a key sack by Huey Richardson. We've played well the first two games, and I think we'll continue to improve as a defensive unit.
Memphis State punter Jeff Veit kicking to the Gators. Terrence Barber, who fumbles the punt, Memphis State recovers. That would set up John Butler's 35-yard field goal with a minute and a half left in the third quarter to cut the score to 31-13. On the next Florida possession, Morris throws a strike to tight end Kirkpatrick.
Here's a key pass by Morris to Kirkpatrick. It's the same type pattern we used in our first game. Kurt shows you what type of tight end receiver he is, and this pass is just another one of a good game by Cal Morris.
On 1st and 10 from the 37, Morris fakes to Emmitt and throws to the other tight end, Harvey Thomas, a great catch, a pickup of 14 yards. Later in the drive, on 3rd and 24, Kyle almost loses the snap, but gets the ball to Emmitt, who gets outside using his speed and balance, a 26-yard gain, and a Gator first down. The Gators come up empty, though, on a Morris interception. Memphis State, Jones hitting Bolden on a quick slant for a 6-yard gain, but the defense held tough and forced Memphis State punter Jeff Veit to punt, dropping this ball inside the 5-yard line. But Florida was forced to punt, and Memphis State forced to throw the football. Backup quarterback Rusty Trail throwing, and Tim Paulk making his 1989 season debut, picked it off and went 50 yards for a Florida touchdown. It was 38-13.
Well, the interception, I was trying to get back in the game and just settle down and get the calls right and make the right drops and don't make any mistakes. And I got in, and the quarterback kind of looked the tight end off. I didn't think he was going to throw it to him. Then he made the pass and I intercepted. And the rest is touchdown, I guess.
Memphis State trailing 38-13, keeping the ball on the ground. Tailback Gerald White with a short gain. And then Rusty Trail going upstairs 9 yards to flanker Van Drayton. But the drive stalls, and with Emmitt on the sideline, Donald Douglas takes over the Gator offense. Douglas handing to McClendon, who carries right for a gain of 8 yards. But a few plays later, McClendon would fumble, and with time running down, Tiger quarterback Rusty Trail trying to get the ball in the end zone, stopped by Florida's Pat Moore, who makes the interception, runs out the clock. The Gators win it 38-13. We'll be back with closing comments in just a moment.
It's the right color. It's the world's greatest football machine, the Gator Wagon. And you can win it from the world's greatest snack food company, Golden Flakes. To enter, go any place Golden Flakes snacks are sold.